And the live broadcast is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. A warm welcome to you, and we are glad that you are joining us for these proceedings this afternoon. Currently on your screens, that is inside the National Assembly chambers. As we can see, members of the National Assembly have already begun making their way into the chamber, of course, to get ready for the business that is ahead of them to consider this afternoon at the plenary sitting. So at around 2:30, we should also be expecting the Speaker's procession to also be making its way into the chamber. Until then, let's take a look at the business that they shall be transacting this afternoon. Now, there is a procedural motion that the Departmental Committee on Budget and Appropriations shall be moving this afternoon. This is regards to the reduction of publication period for a specified bill. And this bill is the appropriation bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly, to have its publication period reduced from 7 days to 5 days. To be able to undergo the process that is required for it to become or be legislated. And this is a bill that will authorize the issuance of a sum of money out of the consolidated fund and its application towards the services of the year ending the 30th of June 2027, and to appropriate that sum and a sum voted on account by the National Assembly for the certain public services. Now, you will recall that in the last few days, the National Assembly has been considering the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee and also considered it at the Committee of Supply. So basically, the appropriation bill is presented to Parliament to authorize the withdrawal of monies from the consolidated fund to finance government expenditure for a specific financial year. This is for the next financial year, 2026-2027. It comes after Parliament approves the national budget estimates, which were considered on the floor of the House, and the votes were passed at the Committee of Supply stage. So it gives, this particular bill now comes to legislate that issuance of the sum of monies or the supply of the monies to the various officers and government officers as well as agencies, ministries, of course, to be able to use that money. It gives legal authority for government ministries, the departments, and to the agencies to be able to spend that public funds that were allocated to these particular officers. It also specifies the amount of money that is allocated to each vote or government entity, and also ensures that public expenditure is carried out according to Parliament's approved budget. As I had indicated earlier, Speaker, we have seen the National Assembly consider the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee that was tabled in the House. By the committee, considerations were made, debate also took place, and the particular report and the allocations, the estimates went through consideration at the Committee of Supply to be able to supply these monies to the various ministries, departments, and government offices. We can see the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Dr. Moses Masika Wetangula, has already made his way into the House to be able to preside over this afternoon sitting. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast, brought to you by PB in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Waheshimiwa, tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umetoa nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala wa haki wa wanadamu, tukusihi utaseme kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako, ambao wameridhika kutuita kutekeleza shughuli muhimu za jamhuri yetu. Tunakuomba uteremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa, na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako siendelezwe, na ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu, na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Sergeant, ring the quorum bell.
Has been said and the chair taken.
Yes.
And the speaker has directed that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes. Of course, this is to give room to members of the National Assembly to be able to make their way into the chamber. As we wait for the quorum to be attained, we shall continue to take a look at the business that the members shall be considering this afternoon. And in the order of business is that there is a procedural motion, as I had indicated earlier. This regards the reduction of publication period for the appropriations bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly, Bill number 36 of 2026. This is coming at the as the country, or as the budget process also gears to an end for the next financial year, that is the 2026-2027 financial year. This is a bill that basically gives legal authority for government ministries, departments, as well as agencies to be able to spend public funds that were allocated to it through the budget estimates that were done in the House. The estimates were submitted to the National Assembly. Parliament debated, made amendments where necessary, and approved the estimates. And then this follows now the appropriation bill is introduced and considered at the National Assembly. So once this particular procedural motion is dispensed with, the bill will come up for first reading. After first reading,
honorable members, we now have quorum
public participation.
to transact
well,
business.
Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast.
Clerk.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable members have got 2 petitions to convey to the House. The first petition is regarding alleged discrimination of secondary school deputy principals on career progression by the Teacher Service Commission. Honorable members, Article 119 of the Constitution accords any person the right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority. Further, Standing Order 2252B requires the Speaker to report to the House any petition other than that presented by a member. Fellow members, I wish to report to the House that my office has received a petition from Mr. Maurice Otieno Ouma of ID number 95-78 and Mr. Paul Juma Were of ID number 115-89 and 14 others on behalf of all affected deputy principals in the country regarding alleged discrimination by the Teacher Service Commission on career progression guidelines for secondary school deputy principals in the country. The petitioner states, the Teacher Service Commission, jointly with the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC, undertook a job evaluation in the public teaching sector and came up with recommendations that led to the paradigm shift in career progression of teachers in the year 2016, aimed to provide a new grading structure, minimum requirements for appointment, recruitment and promotion, and the introduction of teacher professional development, TPD. Honourable members, the petitioners aver that the consultations and recommendations made led to the development of career progression guidelines for teachers 2018 that provides for promotion of teachers, among others. The petitioners decries the implementation of the career guidelines required serving teachers as at 8th November 2017 to adopt and convert to the new designations and grading structures provided in the guidelines. Honourable members, the petitioners claim that conversion of teachers in job group N to D1, who mostly are deputy principals by career progression guidelines for teachers 2018, was similar to being demoted, as it did not take into account the number of years that the teachers had stagnated in the various job groups, and in particular teachers in job groups M and N, whose conversion could be to D2, D3, and D4. The petitioners expressed concern that the Teacher Service Commission Code of Regulations for Teachers, which provides for promotion of teachers in accordance with the schemes of service and which provide for common cadre establishment and promotion and competitive promotion, has not been met. Honourable members, the petitioners further aver that the deputy principals who are duly appointed between 2001 and 2014 under the scheme of services replaced by the current career guidelines have been systematically downgraded, denied rightful promotions, and unfairly discriminated against, despite having served faithfully over this period. Honourable members, the petitioners state that they have made several efforts to have their concerns addressed through the Teacher Service Commission to no avail. Honourable members, the petitioners affirm that the issues raised in this petition are not pending before any court of law, constitutional body, or other legal forum. The petitioners therefore pray that the National Assembly, 1, inquires into the matter and recommend appropriate mechanism for solving the impasse for the benefit of the affected teachers and in particular the deputy principals' promotions. 2, make recommendations that will promote career progression by deputy principals as per the guidelines under the TSC Code of Regulations for teachers and effect the necessary promotions in various job groups. And 3, make any other orders or recommendations it deems appropriate to address the petitioner's grievances. Honourable members, having determined that the matters raised by the petitioners are well within the authority of this House, I order that pursuant to the provisions of standing orders, this petition be committed to the Departmental Committee on Education. The committee is required to consider the petition and report its findings to the House and the petitioner in accordance with the standing orders. I thank you. Members, take the nearest seats. The nearest seats to save time. Kainan, where is your nearest seat?
I was giving way to now.
McLeod, where's your nearest seat? Yes. Honourable members, before I present the next petition, allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's Gallery the following schools. Mia Moja Primary School from Laikipia, North Laikipia. Siwot Girls Secondary School from Kuresoi South, Nakuru. In the public gallery, we have Ngiito Secondary School from Narok West, Narok. Kiugu Secondary School from Kigumo, Muranga. And Enaiposha Girls Senior School from Naivasha, Nakuru. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Honorable members, the next petition is regarding historical land injustices and the proposed conversion of public land LR 25005 Kericho Samburet to community land for human settlement. Honorable members, Article 119 of the Constitution accords every person the right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority. Further, Standing Order 2252B requires the Speaker to report to the House any petition other than those presented by a member. In this regard, honorable members, I wish to report that my office has received a petition from Mr. Kipkoech Arab Chumo of ID number 3699 and others representing Changkelek Kipsigis Ogek squatters and residents of Kericho County. The petition concerns historical land injustices and the proposed conversion of public land LR number 25005 Kericho Samburet to community land for purposes of human settlement. The petition has drawn the attention of the House to the historical land injustices suffered by their community, which comprises approximately 1,500 members who originally inhabited the Kipulgeni Samburet Mokokwega forest. They aver that in 1913, the colonial administration forcefully evicted them from the forest, resulting in the loss of their ancestral land, traditional livelihoods, and cultural heritage. Honorable members, the petitioners state that following their displacement, they were relocated to the Chemogondany, Marinyi, and Chepkoiben tea estates. There, they were compelled to serve as casual laborers under colonial labor laws without secure land tenure. In 1962, companies including African Highlands Produce Company Limited and Finlay's Kenya Limited issued eviction notices to resident laborers and their families, effectively rendering them squatters. The petitioners further expressed their disappointment that despite the 2001 eviction of the Mau Forest Complex under legal notice number 328 of 30th January 2001, which was intended to resettle the Ogek community and victims of land clashes, the petitioners were excluded and remain landless. This exclusion has resulted in acute land fragmentation and persistent displacement. Honorable members, petitioners conclude by making reference to a motion of no objection regarding the conversion of LR number 25005 Kericho Samburet, hived off from the southwest Mau Forest, from public land to community land for human settlement that was approved on 17th March 2021 by the Kericho County Assembly. This resolution affirms the legitimacy of the petitioner's claim and the urgent need for correction action. The petitioners therefore pray that the National Assembly A facilitates an investigation into the historical land injustices suffered by the community, B, ensures that the conversion of LR 25005 Kericho Samburet from public land to community land for human settlement, and C, directs the relevant ministry to issue valid title documents to the affected members. Honorable members, having established that the matters raised in the petition are well within the authority of this House, and further that the matters raised in this petition are not pending before any court of law, constitutional or legal body, I hereby commit the petition to the Public Petitions Committee for consideration pursuant to Standing Order 208A. The committee is required to consider the petition and report its findings to the House and to the petitioners in accordance with standing orders. I thank you. Yes, Owen Bayer.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to make comments on the two petitions, and I want to start with the one of the deputy head teachers. Honorable Speaker, I left the teaching profession, Honorable Speaker, when I was serving as deputy principal. And I know, Honorable Speaker, the work of a deputy principal sometimes supersedes the work that the principal does, because there's a lot of work that a deputy principal does on the day-to-day running. And Honorable Speaker, I actually left when I was in job group N, and I was considered one of those very high, very senior deputy principal. Not in my imagination. I was actually a very senior deputy principal. And the work I used to do, Honorable Speaker, was immense, was a lot of work, such that sometimes I felt that deputy principals need to be remunerated very, very well, Honorable Speaker. But if we have a situation where we have deputy principals who are disgruntled because of job groups and promotions and pay, Honorable Speaker, then it boils down to some of the problems that we're having in our schools probably stem from such disgruntlement of high-level staff, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I would request the Committee for Education, chaired by the Honorable Meli, who I think retired as a principal, left the teaching fraternity as early retirement as principal, Honorable Speaker, to actually help the deputy principals. We see the amount of work that they put in to ensure that the school runs. And sometimes you become the subject of hate because you are the discipline master. You are very many things. And therefore, deputy principals must be accorded the respect they deserve, including monetary respect, Honorable Speaker, so that they can serve very well. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, I want to contribute to the petition on the land in Kericho. In the 12th Parliament, I served in the Committee for Lands, and I was a very active member. And this petition came there.
This same petition?
The same petition. And I don't know whether it was concluded or not. There was the Chemorer and this Sigowet or something, and the Kericho land. It has had the African Highland, African tea, something like that. Honorable Speaker, the people of Kericho have suffered for many years. And it is not even the first time the second time they have brought this matter here. They have been to courts of law, they have been all over, Honorable Speaker, and they have never gotten any reprieve, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is very important that this 13th Parliament stands out as that one that will solve the problem of the people of Kericho. I pity them. We suffer the same. The people of the coast and the people of Kericho. We have been in the same boat. His Excellency the President is solving the problem at the coast, Honorable Speaker. And we have a chance really to redeem the problem at the coast. I want to request this Parliament to pave the way for the solution of the problem of the land for the people of Kericho, Honorable Speaker. With those remarks, Honorable Speaker, I urge the committee to help the people. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Kihara.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this chance to welcome all the students in Parliament today, and more so Naiposha girls who have had a chance of meeting, and encourage them to keep the discipline.
Are you welcoming students or speaking to petitions?
I'm welcoming the students. I can still do the petition. Let me welcome them because, Mr. Speaker, this is a school that we have had a lot of occasions met. I have encouraged them on discipline, and I want to tell them the works that we have done in that school should be maintained. They should not get into the habit of burning that school, where I recently gave them a modern kitchen. I've built classrooms, and I also congratulate them because it's one of the best schools, girls' schools, where discipline is very high. Let's keep it up. 4 years in secondary school is very short. You do those other things. When you are done with school, you know we have taken an oath also to behave. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. None of you should follow that precedent. We are dealing with petitions, not welcoming students. Oundo?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to make a comment on the first petition, because on the issue of the second petition, my colleague has clearly put it. It was here with us in the last parliament, and they hoped it would be dispensed off. But those are the challenges we had in the committee of petition, which we need to resolve. Honorable Speaker, the issue of deputy principals is becoming a very emotive and demoralizing situation. And general, Honorable Speaker, is the entire of career progression in the teaching profession. Honorable Speaker, it's gotten to a point that even now we do not have teachers who can act as deputy principals. We do not have teachers now who can actually be appointed as principals. I want to urge the Committee of Education, the entire Ministry of Education, and TSC to really go back and rethink. The issue of teachers stagnating in one position, one job group forever, is very demoralizing. The chances that teachers cannot be appointed and are promoted to become deputy principals is very demoralizing. I want to go on record, Honorable Speaker, that as we stand here, as I speak here today, Busia County as a whole has got a shortage of about 30 deputy principals and has got a shortage for about 50 principals. We are having schools that have had teachers acting as principals for the last 3 years who are not even due to be promoted as deputy principals. We want to urge the committee to move with speed. We cannot wait for long. Please move with speed. We'll solve this matter once and for all. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Osoro?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to make my comments on the second petition about the Kericho land. Honorable Speaker, I partly grew up in Kericho. And at that point, the tea plantation company was called African Highland. It quickly changed hands to Finlay's company. Honorable Speaker, the estate that you just mentioned is just next to a school that I went to, called Chemasingi Primary School. Mr. Speaker, if you listen to the stories that that those people faced, especially the squatters within that area, Honorable Speaker, you will sympathize with them. Honorable Speaker, these are people that a company comes, gives them some jobs, then decides to come up with some machinery and fires them all, takes their land, and then tells them, now we cannot employ you, we cannot give you this particular job, even the places that you live in are no longer yours. Honorable Speaker, you can imagine the years. From the years I left Chemasingo, Honorable Speaker, it's close to 25 years or 28 thereabout, Honorable Speaker. Up until now, those people are facing the same land challenge that they were facing even then, 28 years ago. Honorable Speaker, I think this parliament should be seized of this matter and handle it seriously, Honorable Speaker. And even as we engage the petitions committee, Honorable Speaker, I'll urge your good office, Honorable Speaker, to also involve the land committee, Honorable Speaker, in this matter. Because what the petition office will do, of course, they listen to the other part and merely make recommendations, which is, of course, right, that is within their powers. But the deep matters that are, Honorable Speaker, that are about that particular matter, about land, Honorable Speaker, they are so deep. Those people, Honorable Speaker, have been used. Those people have suffered from not only just being used, Honorable Speaker, but they've also suffered damages, some health. Honorable Speaker, there are no hospitals that are closed there because they're not even allowed to use the hospitals that have been built there other than those who work on the machinery, Honorable Speaker. Yet the people have taken their land for over 30 years, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this, at least for the time I was there, it is over 30 years, Honorable Speaker. So this particular House, Honorable Speaker, should at least have a multi-committee engagement to make sure that these people get justice, Honorable Speaker. It is long overdue. We cannot be having it year in, year out, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Cherorot, take a minute each.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. let me comment on this issue of land in Kericho. It happens that, Mr. Speaker, the said land of Sambret is in my constituency, Mr. Speaker. And this issue of land, it has been there time immemorial. The problem, Mr. Speaker, in this place is that there is this Sambret land which has been mentioned. As we talk now, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell you that we are sitting on a time bomb. We have different groups who are claiming the same land. It's about 1,500 acres. And we have different titles. That is why, Mr. Speaker, I want to recommend that apart from the petition committee, the land also committee should come in. And thorough investigation should be done in order to set things in order. The challenge, Mr. Speaker, is that the said land used to be a tea research, where they used to do research, but the research was moved to where it is today. So that land remained there, and there is James Brown now, and the locals who are fighting for this. The other day, we had a lot of border writers who went there, and they were claiming the same land. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a matter of urgency. It has to be dealt with once and for all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Justice Kemei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The mic is not working.
Give Justice Kemei a working mic.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity you've given me to comment specifically on the petition on the land in Kericho. Mr. Speaker, for over a century, the people of Kericho have suffered great injustice. Whenever you pass through the main road, Mr. Speaker, going to Kisii, you see green land. But the original people of Kericho were pushed to the periphery. Any effort we've made in the past, Mr. Speaker, to have restitution or at least to have some token kind of compensation, it has fallen into, it has not been successful. Mr. Speaker, I wish that in discussing this particular petition, the petitions committee calls on us leaders from Kericho so that we can be able to give an input on this particular piece of land. Mr. Speaker, the tea estates have been changing names all through. In the last 2 years, Mr. Speaker, it changed names to Browns, and having changed names to Browns, it promised the people of Kericho that 15% of the tea estates in Kericho would be taken over by the county government of Kericho so they can benefit from it. They promised that 2 billion shillings would be given to the people of Kericho for various projects. Mr. Speaker, all those promises have never come to fruition. So, Mr. Speaker, we would like that this issue is dealt with urgently so the people of Kericho feel compensated for the land that was denied from them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Dorothy Kiara.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I too wish to add my voice to the petition on teacher promotion. Honorable Speaker, when we sit in this house and remembering the work that teachers do, not only the deputy head teachers, not only the principals and the head teachers, teachers across all ranks and file, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, it is very timely that this petition has come. We have canvassed this in this house before, Honorable Speaker, and I want to challenge the chair education and all the other stakeholders, Honorable Speaker, that it is very demoralizing for a teacher to be employed and retire after 40 years in the same grade. Honorable Speaker, this is a matter of policy shift. It is the high time that we look at our policies so that, Honorable Speaker, we can uplift the morale of our teachers in this country, Honorable Speaker. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, the teachers, notwithstanding even the treatment that they get, they are always committed to ensuring that they religiously do their work without minding on the shortcomings of what they don't get. Honorable Speaker, I think the Chair Education is here and he has stand. Let this matter, this petition, be taken seriously. Thank you, Honorable.
Mwalimu Kombe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue of deputy principals stagnating in one grade for so long is really alarming. I know of some teachers I've been working with when I was a teacher. They stagnated in same grade for almost over 9 years. Some of them have been acting, no confirmation at all. They act for over 10 years. Mr. Speaker, it is high time that the ministry, TSC, do take measures and make sure that at least there is a policy that once one is appointed acting deputy, stays there maybe for some time and then is confirmed before he's promoted to be a principal. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to
Member for
share my
Sirisia.
experience.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance also to contribute about Kericho land. Honorable Speaker, this petition was there in 11th Parliament, Mr. Speaker, and I believe and trust the Honorable Speaker that the people of Kericho have suffered a great deal since independence, Mr. Speaker, and this issue should be taken seriously, Honorable Speaker, with this Parliament to make sure that action is taken against so that these people of Kericho should be given an alternative land. Honorable Speaker, these colonial people have really punished our people, and we are no longer in colonial time, Mr. Speaker. Kenya is independent, Honorable Speaker, and therefore we as a country should take care of our people, Honorable Speaker, not to look like squatters and yet Kenya got independent, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, even us, people of Western Kenya, Mr. Speaker, as a big population now, #1 population in this country, we need also to be checked because the population is high, Honorable Speaker, because we are now #1 in population in this country, and the space that we are having, Honorable Speaker, are matching the country, Honorable Speaker, the government to also to look for an alternative for especially the lawyers, Honorable Speaker, also to be settled because we are very, very much squeezed, Honorable Speaker.
Time up. Janet Sitiene, then Erindikiri finally.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to comment on the first petition. Honorable Speaker, the face and discipline of a school is the deputy principal, and therefore denying them this opportunity to progress in their career is like justice delayed and it is justice denied. So, Honorable Speaker, many deputy principals have remained in the same job group for a long time, and we have gotten information, they come to request us, and recently in my constituency, when we were looking for principals to head schools, we could not find any because of this problem of delayed progression of job groups of the deputy principals. So, Honorable Speaker, I think it's timely, and we ask the committee that has been assigned to do justice for the deputy principals, because it is important for all the teachers, the principals and the deputy principals to progress timely in their job groups so that they can get motivated and not demotivated and disgruntled, so that they can deliver to this nation in the education sector. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Rindikiri Mugambi.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am going to talk about two sets of discrimination by TSC. One, stagnating teachers at the deputy principal's level or the deputy head teacher's level in that institution. But also, we are seeing a trend where the TSC is conducting promotions in other counties and discriminating against other counties. Mr. Speaker, you will find that promotions are being conducted, interviews are being done in some counties, and in those counties, teachers are transferred into other counties, denying the locals the opportunity to progress upward as either principals or teachers. Mr. Speaker, this issue is going to become more complex because now we have JSS, and we are wondering who are going to be responsible for JSS. Are we going to get the old teachers or still the teachers who have developed their capacity for JSS? That's another issue that the TSC really need to handle as quickly as possible. So, Mr. Speaker, my point is, let's avoid the TSC come up with a policy where teachers from one county are given consideration other than discriminating against those counties and bringing promotions only to some specific counties. Mr. Speaker, if the TSC is allowed to continue with the management of education the way they are doing it, Mr. Speaker, we shall land into a very serious problem. And some of the issues that are being raised today, even seeing the behaviors and activities happening in schools, is because the teachers have now started becoming demoralized. And we don't want our teachers to become demoralized. Let everybody deserve the merit. Let everybody deserve the promotion. Let everybody deserve to do what it.
Thank you. We'll leave it there on the petitions, and they have been committed to the two committees. I got to what Osoro said about the Kericho land. It might be a matter of good procedure to have the lands committee enjoined. So the committee is Nyamoko in the house. Any member from the lands committee? Yes, Major, you inform your chair that you'll partner with the petitions committee on that Kericho petition. Yes. In the public gallery, there is Inyokoni Secondary School from Kaiti in Makueni. Kimilu, is this the school you wanted to welcome? Go ahead, 1 minute. Give Honorable Kimilu the mic.
Yeah, thank you.
There's one next on your right, or is behind you?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I want to welcome the schools in Parliament today, Mr. Speaker, because I remember when I was in high school, one time we visited Parliament, and Mr. Speaker, I learned something, and I want to welcome the students from Inyokoni and the other schools to tell them that today they are here, and I want them to learn something so that in future they can even sit where we are seated today. And I also want to encourage them and tell them that we as parents, we want to advise them, banning of schools cannot earn you anything. The only good discipline which can pay you. So we welcome you, and thank you for coming to Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. On behalf of the House, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 10th June 2026, in the afternoon sitting. Reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for the years ended 30th June 2021, 30th June 2022, 30th June 2023, 30th June 2024, and 30th June 2025. And certificates therein in respect of the following schools: Arabia Boys Secondary School, Lunga Lunga Secondary School, Shine Star Kai Public Secondary School, St. George's Girls Secondary School, Wasingishu, and St. George's High School, Kaloleni, Kilifi. Honorable Speaker, the last school, the fifth school, is my alma mater. I thank you and I beg to lay.
Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Decentralized Funds. Is that Muliungi?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 10th of June 2026. Report on Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the reports of the Auditor General as follows. 1. The 13th report on the examination of audited financial statements of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for constituencies in Kitui, Machakos, Makueni, Kisii, and the Nyamira counties for the financial years 2013-2014, 2014-2015, 2015-2016, 2016-2017, 2017-2018, 2018-2019, 2019-2020, 2020-2021, 2021-2022, and 2022-2023. Number 2, the 14th report on the examination of the audited financial statements for the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for constituencies in Garissa, Mandera, Wajir, Samburu, Laikipia, and Marsabit counties for the financial years 2013-2014, 2014-2015, 2015-2016, 2016-2017, 2017-2018, 2018-2019, 2019-2020, 2020-2021, 2021-2022, and 2022-2023. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair, the Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 10th June 2026. Report of the Committee of Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library on the establishment of parliamentary corners in national and county libraries. I thank you.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Chairperson, Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee, Muliungi.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the 13th report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the audited accounts for the National Government Constituency Development Fund for constituencies in Kitui, Machakos, Makueni, Kisii, and Nyamira counties for the financial years 2013-2014, 2014-2015, 2015-2016, 2016-2017, 2017-2018, 2018-2019, 2019-2020, 2020-2021, 2021-2022, and 2022-2023 laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 10th of June, 2026. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Number 2, Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion also, that this House adopts the 14th report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the audited accounts for the National Government Constituency Development Fund for constituencies in Garissa, Mandera, Wajir, Saburu, Laikipia, and Marsabit counties for the financial years 2013-2014, 2014-2016, 2015-2016, 2016-2017, 2017-2018, 2018-2019, 2019-2020, 2020-2021, 2021-2022, and 2022-2023, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 10th of June, 2026. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Person, Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library, Nanok.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library on the establishment of parliamentary corners in national and county libraries, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 10th June 2026. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Abubakar Talib, nominated member.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the unlawful enforcement of night to dawn curfew in parts of Lamu County. Honorable Speaker, on 21st May 2026, the Garseni High Court issued conservatory orders suspending enforcement of the public order curfew. Lamu, Garissa, and Tana River counties, Order 2017. The orders barred the continued enforcement of the long-running curfew that has for years restricted movement between 6 p.m. and 7 a.m. in Lamu County and several areas within the Boni Forest Security Corridor. Honorable Speaker, the affected areas are Ulugo, Border Point, Galmagala, Sanagilu, Masalani, Bodehei, Milimani, Baure, Basuba, Mangai, Maralani, Ijara, Hola, Garseni, Kipini, Kiunga, and Ishakani on the Dar es Salaam border points. Despite the court order, the law enforcement officers continue to enforce the night curfew and maintain roadblocks, stranding motorists and area residents, thus violating their constitutional right to freedom of movement and further undermining the rule of law. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for the statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1. The reasons for continued enforcement of the night to dawn curfew by the National Police Service in Lamu County, despite the court orders issued on 21st May 2026. 2. A report on the number of individuals who have been unlawfully arrested, detained, or harassed in Lamu County during curfew hours since the court orders were issued. 3. Disciplinary and administrative measures taken by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration against the police for enforcement of unlawful curfew. And 4. Actions being taken by the ministry to ensure compliance with the court order, including immediate cessation of the curfew and compensation of victims for illegal enforcement of the curfew. Thank you.
Thank you, Talib. Chair, Administration and Internal Security, Tongoyo. Kahangara, when can you bring a response? There you are.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We'll be able to give the report in 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks, thank you. Yeah. Abdul Haro, member for Mandera South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations regarding the trafficking and smuggling of Kenyan citizens through the Kenya, Ethiopia, Sudan, Libya, Europe corridor. Honorable Speaker, reports by the International Organization of Migration, IOM, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, and the other international migration monitoring and human rights organizations indicate that Kenyan citizens have increasingly become victims of trafficking and migrant smuggling networks operating through irregular migration routes through Ethiopia, Sudan, and Libya towards Europe. The networks reportedly operate through a structured chain of local recruiters, cross-border transporters, and traffickers who lure victims and facilitate their movement through Ethiopia and Sudan into Libya. Once in Libya, many victims are reportedly subjected to forced labor, extortion, and arbitrary detention, with some forced to pay ransom and held in inhumane conditions, while others are trafficked into Europe. The continued operation of these networks, supported by economic vulnerabilities of victims, poses a grave threat to the freedom from servitude, safety, welfare, and dignity of Kenyan citizens. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations on the following. 1. A report on the number of Kenyan victims of trafficking and migrant smuggling networks operating along the Kenya-Ethiopia, Sudan, Libya, Europe corridor, including those reported missing, detained, or killed while traveling through the route, and the current security situation affecting Kenyan nationals along the corridor. 2. The immediate measures being taken by the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs in collaboration with the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to identify, apprehend, and prosecute local recruiters and traffickers linked to these activities, and to strengthen border surveillance to prevent further trafficking of Kenyan citizens. 3. Steps being taken by the government in combating human trafficking and facilitating the rescue and repatriation of affected Kenyan citizens. And 4. The support being provided by the government to victims of human trafficking and their families, including providing rehabilitation programs and psychosocial support services. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair, Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations, or any member? Yes, Kandia, 2 weeks.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I will convey the message to my chairman, and we will make sure that in 2 weeks we will bring the response.
Thank you. Mumina Bonaya, Isiolo County MP.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Request for a statement regarding the lack of electricity in public schools in Isiolo County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Energy regarding the lack of electricity connectivity in several public primary and secondary schools in Isiolo County. Honorable Speaker, access to electricity is fundamental for facilitating curriculum implementation and successful integration of technology in learning institutions. Despite the government's effort to expand electricity access across the country, many public schools in Isiolo County, particularly in the rural sub-counties, remain without electricity. The affected schools are distributed across the county as follows: 9 primary schools and 2 secondary schools in Terab Ward, 3 primary schools and 1 secondary school in Chari Ward, 4 primary schools and 2 secondary schools in Oldonyiro Ward, 9 primary schools and 2 secondary schools in Sericho Ward, 9 primary schools and 2 secondary schools in Garbatula Ward, and 12 primary schools and 3 secondary schools in Garmara and Burat Ward. This brings the total number of public schools without electricity in Isiolo County to 58. Honorable Speaker, the lack of electricity has severely constrained digital teaching and learning in the affected institutions. thereby denying learners access to essential digital skills. Consequently, students in these schools risk being left behind in acquiring technical skills necessary in an increasingly technology-driven world. Further, the situation continues to impede the effective implementation of competency-based curriculum, competency-based education, CBE, which emphasizes digital literacy, innovation, and practical learning and the integration of technology in education, all of which are dependent on reliable power supply. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Energy on the following. 1, a report on the status of electricity connectivity in all primary and secondary schools in Isiolo County, specifying unconnected schools in Cherab, Chari, Oldonyiro, Sericho, Garbatula, Garmara, and Burat wards. The short-term measures that the government has put in place to provide alternative energy sources so as to support implementation of competency-based education. And finally, specific plans, budgetary allocations, and timelines that the government has established to connect all remaining public schools in Isiolo County to the national grid to enable digital learning programs and eliminate digital exclusion. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair, Energy. Any member from Energy? Aramat, you're a member of the Energy Committee? Give Aramat the mic. He's right here.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think we can give it in a week's time, the response.
A week's time, so next week on Wednesday.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Dr. Ojambo Oundo, MP Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision Standing Order 442C, I rise to request for a statement on behalf of Kenyan journalists employed as staff members or freelancers by international media houses regarding the systematic exploitation, racial discrimination, and violation of the constitutionally granted labor rights. Honorable Speaker, Kenyan journalists working for prominent international media organizations, among them BBC Africa, CNN, Reuters, Bloomberg News, AFP, Al Jazeera, Voice of America, Associated Press, have for years endured abuse, entrenched racism, and pervasive discrimination in both hiring practice and remuneration. Many have been intimidated into silence whenever they raise concerns about the stark disparity between their pay and that of their foreign counterparts performing similar roles within the same organizations. Evidence shows that Kenyan journalists earn a fraction of what their foreign counterparts receive for equivalent pay. For instance, they are paid approximately $1,500 per month, while foreign journalists undertaking similar assignments earn up to $10,000 per month. Freelance journalists face similar inequities and are paid as little as $150 per story, while foreign journalists are paid upward to $1,500 per story. Bureau chiefs have further aggravated this injustice by blacklisting Kenyan journalists, particularly freelancers, who dare to speak out against the inequities. Honorable Speaker, the exploitation is compounded by the fact that Kenya hosts the highest number of foreign correspondents on the African continent who obtain freelance visa and directly displace qualified Kenyan journalists for employment and freelance opportunities in their own country. These systematic violations of the law have left hundreds of skilled Kenyan media professionals without recourse, and all efforts to resolve the matter through relevant bodies have yielded no meaningful results. Undertaken by relevant government agencies to investigate and address the documented case of racial discrimination and discrimination suffered by Kenyan journalists employed by international media houses operating in Kenya. 2, the steps being taken to enforce equal pay provisions of the Constitution against international media employers who remunerate Kenyan journalists at a rate far below those of their foreign counterparts performing similar roles. And 3, measures being taken by the government to address the price of blacklisting and victimization of Kenyan journalists who raise legitimate complaints about their unfair treatment, and to guarantee their protection from retaliation by bureau chiefs and media employers. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Undo.
Honorable Speaker, just a matter. As you direct to the Labour Committee, there was also a matter I raised here in November last year. It was never responded for. I raised again in February this year. Up to date, there has been no response.
Which committee did you?
Labour, concerning the harassment and mistreatment of a Kenyan working daughter in a Chinese farm. Honorable Speaker, as you request them, please also be magnanimous enough and also ask them to bring the response likewise. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Undo. The Speaker doesn't request, he directs. Where is the Chair, Labour? Who is the Chair, Labour? Ken Chonga. Owen Bayer, today all your chairs of committees are not here. I can only see Mutunga. Meli popped in and out.
I will have to call for a meeting to whip them properly, Honorable Chair.
Yes, inform the Chair Labour to bring a response to this request by Undo and the previous one as well.
All right.
They can be brought together in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you. Much obliged, Mr. Speaker.
Responses, Administration and Internal Security. Kahangara, are you ready? Is Haro in the house? Hold on, Kahangara. Honorable Mulyungi, I had allowed you to request for a statement. Go ahead. Kahangara, hold on.
Honorable Speaker, I request for a statement regarding insecurity in Mwingi Central constituency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, from Mwingi Police Station in Mwingi Central constituency. Earlier, Mr. Speaker, in May 2026, 2 bodies of a man and a woman were found dumped at a river called Kanginga within the same area. The bodies remained unclaimed to date, pointing at the possibility that the victims may have been killed elsewhere and their bodies disposed of on the outskirts of Mwingi town. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, on the 3rd of November 2024, Mr. Ngumbao Kianga of ID number 2672, a resident of Mwingi Central constituency, went missing under unclear circumstances. His family reported his disappearance at Mwingi Police Station under OMB number 29/4/11/24. This incident has left his family in anguish, particularly noting that efforts to establish his whereabouts has not borne fruits. Similarly, Mr. Speaker, in May 2026, the body of Mrs. Winfred Kanya from Kabati, Kitui County, and also a business lady from Mwingi Town were found dumped at Kithioko area, and the matter reported at Kithioko Police Station. These instances have caused immense anguish to the affected families and raised concern among residents over the state of security in Mwingi Town and its environs. The discovery of several bodies in shallow graves and the dumping sites points at a possible pattern of criminal activity that requires urgent investigations by the relevant security agencies. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. Roman 1. The identities and circumstances surrounding the exhumation of 4 bodies from shallow graves near Kasina Primary School in Mwingi Town on the 9th of June 2026. Roman 2. The identities and status of investigations into the matter of 2 bodies found dumped at River Kanginga in May 2026. Roman 3. The status of investigations into the disappearance of Mr. Ngumbau Kianga reported at Mwingi Police Station under OMB number 29/4/11/24 and the steps taken to establish his whereabouts. Roman 4. The status of investigations into the murder of Mrs. Winfred Kanya, a business lady from Mwingi Town in May 2026. Roman 5. Measures being taken by the relevant security agencies to enhance patrols, surveillance, intelligence gathering, and community engagement to restore security within Mwingi sub-county. And Roman 6. The long-term measures being put in place to restore public confidence, ensure justice for the affected families, and prevent similar incidences in Mwingi Town. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, internal security.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think considering that there are various incidents, 2 weeks' time will be enough to bring the reports.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead now and respond. Is Haro in the house now? Go ahead and respond to his request.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Abdul Haro has requested to be appraised on the delays in the issuance of national identity cards in northeastern Kenya. The Honorable Member particularly sought to be informed on the following. A report on the number of ID cards possessed and issued per county and sub-county, including the average timelines in each region. B, reasons for the delay in processing and issuance of national ID cards to applicants in northern Kenya, particularly northeastern region, within the last 3 years. C, steps taken to address the issuance of duplicate ID cards in Mandera Central sub-county to persons who had not applied for them. And D, measures put in place by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to ensure equitable, efficient, and timely processing and issuance of national identity cards across all regions in the country. Mr. Speaker, I wish to respond as follows. A, on a report on the number of ID cards processed and issued per county and sub-county, including the average timelines in each region. Honorable Speaker, from July 2025 to March 2026, the Registration Bureau, that's NRB, has processed and delivered a total of 1,800,127 national ID cards countrywide, including foreign offices. Out of this, Mr. Speaker, 997,356,000 cards belong to first-time applicants, that's NPR. Highlights of ID cards issued per region. The average processing timelines per region is 3 to 7 days, excluding delivery timelines. Mr. Speaker, attached is a report showing the number of IDs issued per county. I think that will be shared with the member to be able to see by proceed in the reply. Currently, the National Registration Bureau is automating enrollment through the live capture system, which transmits applicants' data directly to the card production center in Nairobi. Applications processed via the live capture are completed within 3 days, between 3 to 7 days, excluding delivery timelines to and from the NRB headquarters. However, most registration centers still rely on manual applications due to limited deployment of the live capture machines across the 934 registration centers. To address this, the State Department of Migration and Citizen Services has prioritized acquisition of additional live capture units. Already, 300 units have been received this month, and another 200 expected by the end of the financial year. Gradual deployment of the live capture equipment across all sub-counties and division offices will substantially reduce waiting times for ID issuance. B, on the reasons for the delay in processing and issuance of IDs to applicants in northern Kenya and particularly northeastern region within the last 3 years. Honorable Speaker, between January 2023 and March 2026, NRB has processed and issued a total of 234,451 ID cards in northern Kenya as follows. Garissa County, 100,146. Wajir, 69,332. Mandera, 64,973. Currently, there are 24,458 applications from the region which remain at various stages of processing at the NRB headquarters. To fast-track completion of all pending applications, the Directorate has optimized production using two card personalization machines with a daily capacity of 32,000 cards. Additionally, a rapid response initiative RRI has been introduced, enabling 24-hour card printing to eliminate the delays. Honorable Speaker, to further enhance service delivery, NRB is conducting a mobile registration exercise in the northeastern region. C, on the steps taken to address the issuance of duplicate IDs in Mandera, Central Sub-County to persons who had not applied for them. Honorable Speaker, a machine error that resulted in the double printing of 200 cards has now been rectified. The system has also been enhanced to prevent duplication where a serial number has already been issued. Mr. Speaker, the State Department for Immigration and Citizen Services has also rolled out what we call the Maisha number, a unique lifelong identifier that ensures no duplication of personal data or ID cards. This innovation is significant as it provides a permanent and secure identity reference for every citizen, strengthening integrity and trust in the national registration system. On D, measures put in place by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to ensure equitable, efficient, timely processing and issuance of national ID cards across all regions in the country. Mr. Speaker, the following measures have been put in place to ensure equitable, efficient, timely issuance of IDs nationwide. One is abolition of extra vetting in border counties. In line with the presidential directive, additional vetting requirements in border counties have been abolished. Revised registration guidelines now harmonize procedures across the country. Chiefs and declared parents emboss their thumbprints on registration forms, taking responsibility for verifying the citizens. B, we have what we call Usajili Mashinani program. This was launched in October 2025. This initiative targets marginalized and arid and semi-arid areas as our counties, bringing services closer to communities with poor infrastructure and accessibility challenges. It specifically addresses counties where the registration coverage remains below 70%. Expansion of the program is ongoing to ensure nationwide inclusivity. On C, the waiver of fees for first-time applicants, following the government directive implemented through Gazette Notice of 19 March 2025, fees for first-time applicants have been abolished. This has already yielded positive results, with applications by first-time registration increasing. Temporary waivers for duplicate and change of particulars applications have further eased financial burdens, supporting voter registration efforts and improving access to essential services for all citizens, regardless of economic status. And D, we also have what we call the school-based registration. In partnership with the Ministry of Education, the National Registration Bureau conducts mobile registration programs in high school for registration and issuance of IDs to eligible students aged 18 and above. Honorable Speaker, these measures have significantly enhanced access to and related services, reinforcing government's commitment to inclusivity, equity, and citizen-centered service delivery. And Mr. Speaker, as I said, there is a table attached showing the number of identity cards issued in every county between July 2025 and March 2026, which we are going to share with the member. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Haro.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I thank the committee for the statement. It's been a while and a lot of water has gone under the bridge and a lot of progress has been made ever since I asked the question, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, I'm satisfied with the statement provided. Yes.
We thank you for prompting the action. Thank you. Is Stephen Mogaka in the house? Yes. Kahangara, you are ready with this as well? Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, The member for West Mogirango, Honorable Stephen Mogaka, had requested to be appraised on a number of things. One is the circumstances surrounding the recovery of narcotic drugs from the passenger bus along Kisumu-Kericho Highway, including the status of investigations and any arrest made in connection to the incidents. B, report on investigations into the alleged existence of organized drug trafficking networks operating within the Coast and Nyanza regions and the extent of the operations. And C, steps being taken to monitor and prevent the use of public transport vehicles as conduits for trafficking narcotic drugs across the country, including collaboration with the Ministry of Roads and Transport and the deployment of sniffer dogs. And D, measures being put in place to safeguard children using public transport from exposure to narcotic drug trafficking and abuse. And E, long-term measures being implemented to combat the proliferation of distribution of narcotic drugs, particularly among the youth. And Mr. Speaker, I wish to respond as follows. Under the circumstances surrounding the recovery of narcotic drugs from the passenger bus along Kisumu-Kericho Highway, including the status of investigation and any arrest made in connection with the incidents, Mr. Speaker, following intelligence information, police officers intercepted a bus registration number KDN 389J, Isuzu make, belonging to Guardian Ejo that was traveling from Uguja to Nairobi. They recovered 5 bales, that is each at 6.6 kgs, of dry plant material substance suspected to be cannabis sativa, valued at approximately 198,000. Concealed by wrapping in yellow tapes from one of the passengers, Daniel Omondi, the suspect was arrested and later processed and arraigned in Nyando Law Court through case number 602/32/2026 and E162/2026. The recovered exhibits were documented and submitted to the government chemist Kisumu for forensic examination and analysis. Investigations are ongoing, focusing on establishing the source of the narcotic drugs, identifying those responsible, and determining the full extent of the trafficking network, if any. The matter is still pending before the Nyando Law Court. B, report on investigation into the alleged existence of organized drug trafficking networks operating within the Coast and Nyanza regions and the extent of their operations. Mr. Speaker, security and law enforcement agencies are carrying out investigations to establish whether this was a one-off incident or if there exists any organized drug trafficking network that exploits strategic transport corridors in parts of Coast and Nyanza regions. And C, steps being taken to monitor and prevent the use of public transport vehicles as conduits for trafficking narcotic drugs across the country, including collaboration with the Ministry of Road Transport and deployment of sniffer dogs. Honorable Speaker, the government has strengthened surveillance and enforcement operations targeting public transport system through a multi-agency approach involving the National Police Service, NACADA, and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations and other relevant agencies. Key measures include introduction of 24-hour surveillance multi-agency roadblock along Kisumu-Kericho Highway at Ahero, Nyando Sub-County, establishing, equipping, and enhancing the capacity of roadblocks and checkpoints teams to conduct regular compliance, inspection, and enforcement operations on public transport vehicles along major highways and transport routes. Capacity building of transport operators and crew members to identify and report suspicious packages and activities. Majority of SACCOs have been encouraged to scrutinize goods that are picked along the way and at assignated bus stops. We have also strengthened collaboration with the Ministry of Roads and Transport sector stakeholders to promote vigilance and compliance with the existing laws and regulations. Increased deployment of trained and narcotic officers at strategic transit points and also transport terminals. And progressive enhancement of canine sniffer dogs units at selected points of entry, transport hubs, and high-risk transit points to improve the detection of illicit drugs. D, on measures being put in place to safeguard children and using public transport from exposure to narcotic drug trafficking and abuse. Mr. Speaker, the government continues to implement a range of preventive measures aimed at protecting children and young persons from exposure to narcotic drugs, and these include: 1, public awareness and education campaigns targeting schools, parents, transport operators, and communities on the dangers of drug abuse and trafficking. 2, enforcement operations to remove drug traffickers and peddlers operating near schools, transport terminals, and other areas frequented by children. And 3, strengthening child protection mechanism through collaboration between the law enforcement agencies, educational institutions, and child welfare agencies. Number 4, promotion of reporting mechanism for suspected drug-related activities involving minors. And number 5, integration of drug prevention education into school-based and community-based programs. E, on long-term measures being implemented to combat the proliferation or distribution of narcotic drugs, particularly among the youth. Honorable Speaker, the government has adopted a comprehensive and multi-sectoral strategy to address the alcohol and narcotic drug problem through prevention, enforcement, treatment, rehabilitation, and research. Key long-term interventions include: 1, constituted and operationalized high-level national multi-agency team to coordinate and enforce compliance with and enforcement of narcotic drugs, psychotropic substances, and alcoholic drinks control laws and regulations. The same has been cascaded to lower levels of administration. Strengthening the effectiveness and efficiency of the anti-narcotics unit by augmenting human resource, upgrading technical capabilities, and equipping officers with the necessary tools and expertise to address evolving narcotics-related threats. Number 3 is enhancing intelligence gathering, information sharing, and cross-border coordination to disrupt drug trafficking networks and strengthen regional and international collaboration in addressing transnational drug-related activities. Number 4, expanding access to comprehensive prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation, aftercare, and reintegration for persons affected by substance use disorder. And this is being done through strengthening treatment and rehabilitation infrastructure through regulations, enhancing the capacity of the service providers, promoting community-based interventions, improving referral and support mechanism, and promoting the successful reintegration of recovering individuals into their families, educational institutions, workplaces, and communities. Number 5, enhancing awareness on drugs and substance abuse among the youths through social media campaigns, roadshows, talk shows, public sensitization forums, and school outreach programs, community engagement activities, and mass media campaigns. Number 4 is strengthening evidence generation through robust research, surveillance, and data collection system to support informed decision making and responsive interventions in the control of alcohol and drug substance abuse. Through enhanced intelligence gathering, surveillance, and operations, and interagency collaboration, several trafficking networks have been disrupted, narcotic drug seized, and suspects prosecuted. This is therefore to reiterate that the government remains committed to safeguarding the public from the threat posed by narcotic drugs, and will continue to strengthen collaboration efforts amongst all stakeholders to prevent trafficking, protect vulnerable populations, and promote a drug-free society. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Kaangara. Mogaka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the committee for giving me that elaborate response. But I have issues that I'm not satisfied with, Mr. Speaker. The first one is that my question related to 3 bus companies. I see a response only about one described as Guardian Company. Why so?
It didn't say Guardian Company, it said Guardian Angel.
A Guardian Angel Company.
Yes.
I would want, Mr. Speaker, to understand why only one of those, why the report is confined to only the Guardian Angel Company. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, which is more important, is that Section 20, subsection 2 of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Control Act provides for forfeiture of the vessels involved in transportation of narcotic drugs. I have not heard from the committee what happened with the 3 motor vehicles that were originally impounded. And Mr. Speaker, for records, I wish to state that one of the individuals associated with the Guardian Angel Transport Company confronted me in a funeral in my constituency with goons telling me to leave him alone. And that is why I'm like, drug traffickers can kill And I would want the committee, Mr. Speaker, to revisit the question, explain to Kenyans what happened with the 2 other companies that were impounded with suspected drugs, and more importantly, why Section 20, subsection 2 of the forfeiture proceedings of the Narcotic and Psychotropic Substances Control Act is not applying, or if it is applying, why we are not, as a parliament, not being informed. And Mr. Speaker, lastly, you had asked the committee to involve me when this investigation was being conducted with the relevant government agency. I was not able to attend because I was not invited in good time, because our children are using this transportation whenever going to and from school and colleges. And it is extremely important that the safety of our children is guaranteed. Who knows whether the epidemic of banning education institutions in this country is not associated with these drug traffics. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Oundo.
Honorable Speaker, I come from a county that borders Uganda, and the issue of trafficking of narcotic drugs, especially bang and the related drugs, is becoming a big menace and is slowly and surely destroying our young people. We, the people of Busia, hold the view that the police and those involved are either not doing enough or they're complicit in this illegal trade. And since they're not people of Busia, they don't care the damage they leave behind us. Honorable Speaker, I want to urge the committee, whenever you have an opportunity, please implore upon the security agencies. We implore upon them that drug trafficking, especially bang, is really destroying our communities. Honorable Speaker, and I want to say it categorically here, I may not have the details of the specific police officers, but this trafficking from Uganda is actually aided by the police at the border. And that one I can say without any fear of contradiction. It even goes to an extent, Honorable Speaker, when you cross at a place called Buhwamba in my constituency and Muluanda in my constituency, some of the police who have stayed in Funyula constituency are actually the ones who cultivate the bang, hire land, cultivate the bang, and actually transport that bang within the constituency and actually bring it all the way here to Nairobi. I know it's a lucrative business, but a business that destroys the lives of other children cannot be tolerated. So just implore upon them to do their work, knowing they're also parents, to have mercy on our young people. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
David Ocheng.
Honorable Speaker, thank you so much. Mr. Speaker, I hold a very different view on this matter. That as the committee goes to do their job, would they also check whether it is time we checked why bang, why not other drugs? And number two, whether we can legalize it indeed, so that people can use it. Because since independence, before independence, they have been impounding bang from Uganda into Bungoma, from Uganda into Busia, and they do that every week. It's not the way to go about it. It's not stop it. People who are inclined to take bang will take bang, legalize or illegal, illegal or illegal. So the idea that we keep saying bang is illegal, bang, does it make it illegal because we said it's illegal? We must get a way of dealing with bang in a better manner than the issue of illegalizing bang. Because there are people who believe, and I have to give a personal example on this matter, that 5 years ago, I went down with a terrible, serious back pain. I was recommended for surgery in India. And I said, the doctor told me, no, you're too young for a back surgery. And Mr. Speaker, for a whole year, I got bang. Every evening at 10 p.m., I would boil it. I would boil it and take it every evening before I go to sleep. Let me give a personal example of this.
You are confessing the commission of a crime.
Yes, and the police can do what they want to do. I mean, so every single evening at 10 p.m., the way you take your tea, the way you do the Chinese tea, I would boil the water, put a few leaves in it, not smoke. Just put a few leaves in it, and then I would sleep well till the following day in the morning. I did this for a whole year, Mr. Speaker, and I got better. The only time I get my back is around this time in Nairobi when it gets cold, June and July. And I go back home and again pick the fresh leaves. At 10 p.m., I mean, you can grow bang. You've been told it's grown everywhere. And so I don't believe, Mr. Speaker, that keeping saying that bang is illegal, bang is bad. They have been impounding bang since 1970s, 60s, 50s from Uganda. And it's not stopped. So impounding or talking about the police, it will not help. We need to get a way around the bang matter, more with education, more with a better way of dealing with it, because it can't be, and I can see Honorable Chika looking at me, it can't be that bang helps with the medicine in Mexico, bang helps medicine in America, but in South Africa, Mr. Speaker, you go there are shops, open shops, where you go in and you're told, the medicine, if they ask you whether you want to take it as medicine or you want to take it to get a high. We must deal with it that way. We can't keep doing the provincial police, but the colonial way of that bang is bad, or you can't do this there. No. We need to get reality and say that this bang has been there for a long time. How best do you deal with it, Mr. Speaker? That's my 2 cents on it, the matter.
Elachi?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, while we speak about all this, it is very sad that right now in our rallies, that is the cigarette that our young people are using. So we must ask ourselves as a country, as much as you'll say it's illegal, you cannot tell any Nairobian when you're in a rally, they have now started, they are smoking in front of you, the police are there. We just have to think through and ask ourselves, how do you make it in a manner that will ensure that now it becomes legal, yes, but that legal must have its own consequences. Just the same way we have cigarette, so that they don't smoke in everywhere they are. You go where you are supposed to smoke. Because today, Mr. Speaker, even if you say we are in the whole of Nairobi, I cannot even try and talk to our young people, even when I'm in a funeral somewhere with them. That is the cigarette they are using, they smoke on you, and you have nothing to do. So as a country, we must think through, the same way we'll have to think through, how do you ensure Changa becomes better, can be taxed, can go into a brew, and so that we run away from making it very illegal, the same way Tanzanians have done, the same way Rwanda is doing it, but they have an EPZ for medicinal that goes to Canada. So we must think also as a country, Mr. Speaker.
David Ocheng, as a lawyer, do you know the Jamaican case where a man who smoked bang and picked his child and put on the fire, I think it was a plank of wood?
Yes.
Is that what you are advocating? Yes, Owen Bayer. Yes.
Honourable Speaker, a very interesting debate here, and I must admit that David Ochieng has revealed a certain part of him we didn't know. No wonder he behaves the way he does. But I want to say this, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, what the route he's taking is a very defeatist route, that just because bang is smoked and police keep on impounding, then we should now make it available for everybody, just because, just like saying, because people are being killed every day, we should allow other people to kill them. And I think that's a very wrong trajectory we should take as a country. But, Honourable Speaker, I want to say this. I went to Pakistani. Parliament sponsored me to go to Pakistani on some mission, and I was very surprised, Honourable Speaker, that bang grows everywhere in that country. It is like the common local weed, you know. And when I went to the Kenyan mission, the compound of the Kenyan mission, and it was growing all over the place. And I asked, how come this? I've seen this outside Parliament. I've seen this. What kind of? I was like, yeah, this is bang. They call it poppy or something. And you know, because it is neighboring. Is it Afghanistan or which country? And it is grown all over. But then, as a country, we need to look at how we can make good use of something that probably has benefited other countries, including having factories sometimes I used to go to hospital and you'd be given a drug called morphine. And we were told that morphine has cannabis in it, and it was one of the cannabis in it, and it was one of the good drugs. I was told. I've never used it. That's why I'm different from David. But what I want to say, Honorable Speaker, David is a very good legislator, a seasoned legislator. I would really love to debate a proposal on a law or a bill he has brought to make bang legal. And this House can change that law. And I would like to challenge him. He is a good legislator. He is a good lawyer. He is a good draftsman. Draft a bill. Bring it here. Let's debate it. Let's do public participation. Let's hear what Kenyans are saying about it. And we can pass the law here in this House and make it legal. If that is what Kenyans want, Honorable Speaker.
David Ocheng is not Kenyans. Yes. Yes, Pasaris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute. Mr. Speaker, there is medical cannabis and there is hemp. Now, the late Ken Okoth he suffered from cancer, and I had the privilege of going to Paris when he was staying in France and having his treatment. And at that time, he was using CBD oils, which is a component from cannabis, and it was relieving him of a lot of pain. And he was so interested in legalizing cannabis in Kenya. Now, cannabis, in South Africa, we went to visit a farm. It's legal in South Africa, you can grow it, and they're making a lot of money, but it's also controlled. So you need to have good structures to control it. So for me, I believe that if somebody was to say that I never ever took a joint or I never smoked a joint, it might be miraculous, all right? Because I think as you grow up...
What do you mean is miraculous? I've never done it.
The thing is...
Don't judge the country by your standards.
No. You see, the thing is, the youth right now, it's all available.
Yes, Millie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know that Honorable Esther Passaris is well-intentional by trying to move medicinal aspects of, what do you call it again? Cannabis on Jaga.
Or ganja.
Or ganja, or whatever it is. But, Mr. Speaker, is she in order to mislead the House by indicating that it must be a miracle that if you have never tasted the same...
I'm part of that miracle.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, can I just say? Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I'm a bad girl. Mr. Speaker, I'm a bad girl. But you can't believe I've never even touched cigarette, never touched alcohol, never touched anything in that category. Only church wine. That's the only one I've tried. So is she in order in misleading people? Mr. Speaker, there are some of us who are naturally high. We don't need njaga. I was born naturally high. I don't need njaga.
Yes, Pasaris, finish up.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, the thing is, there are places that you go and you hear this fragrance and people say, hey, that's bangi. All right, who is smoking bangi here? I've actually been to certain meetings where people are saying, who is smoking? And you're trying to find out who's smoking. You've always been around smokers, so it happens. But the thing is, I think as a country, we have to recognize that it is readily available. You can order it online. It is delivered to you, including CBD. So I had the privilege of being invited by Richard Branson to his island in Necker.
And the reason I was invited there is because he was hosting a number of members of parliament to try and advance and push medical cannabis, because he said we needed it. There was a patient in Canada. Canada, it's legal. There was a patient in Canada who said, I don't want opioid painkillers. They are addictive. I want medical cannabis. And Canada actually legalized it. I remember trying to have this conversation with the former president. And I actually said, we need to consider this when we were in Vancouver for Women Discover. And he said that, you know what, I do not want to do it in Kenya because already there's always talk that it's being smoked even in State House. So the thing is, do it in the future, but not in my tenure. So what I want to say is, let's be realistic. When my grandmother was ailing, I was giving her the scientific medical painkillers. My uncle was boiling bangi for her and giving her bangi tea, saying that this was relieving her pain. So what I'm saying is this conversation has to be had. Our children are readily having it, and there's two kinds of bangi. There's bangi for self-use, and there's bangi where you're trafficking it and selling it all over. So as a country, it's a conversation we have to have. Unfortunately, the religious institutions will say no, but it is already there. It is available readily. Our children are having cookies. Let me tell you, our children are also making cookies with bangi in their houses and selling them. They're having parties where they're getting intoxicated. So let us not live in a box. The fact is...
What kind of parents are you guys?
No, the thing is, it is happening. Yes. Let me tell you, don't say what... Mr. Speaker, it is happening. It might not happen in my house,
Time up.
but it's happening in somebody...
Songole.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to join the Honorable Bayer in hoping that one day we will have a motion that will be tabled by somebody here for purposes of us bringing our country back to senses. Because, Mr. Speaker, from this discussion by Honorable Pasaris, you can see how much we have veered away from what ought to be there to what is there. And we can correct what is there by going back to what was not there. Because, Mr. Speaker, there could be very many benefits of psychotropic substances, but those benefits are far outweighed by the loss that it is bringing to our society. And I think that people have not actually gone back to their families to see the kind of damage that is happening in our brains, in the brains of our kids. The mere fact that something has become available does not make it better. I think this is a discussion we ought to have had in camera, because already these things that are going from this house today, Mr. Speaker, are going to make our children bolder, and they are going to promote themselves from cannabis to something even more serious. Because, Mr. Speaker, I know if we make it legal, one advantage is that it will be cheap. But what kind of society are we going to have?
Honorable members, I invite you to read a small book called The Trouble with Nigeria and see what Chinua Achebe says of some of the things you are saying. Have you gone to places where bang is abused and seen how our children look like zombies? Yeah? Anyway, the Speaker is not a debater. Rindikiri?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am a member of the Parliamentary Caucus on Drugs and Substance Abuse. And I have had the privilege of going out to Mauritius. And what you have just said, I saw it live. There's some streets where now treatment is being done by the same so that you can normalize that person. What Mheshimiwa Sunkuri is saying is the consequences of the things that we are trivializing now. I am a Christian, I'm a parent, and a very responsible parent. I am an uncle to one gentleman who has finished his master's, but now he is a zombie as a result of bangi. And when we talk about bangi, we should also include the other type of drugs that our children and even grown-up people are applying. The problem is what control measures can we put to Ochieng so that he takes this and he doesn't take this. Mr. Speaker, we are growing a Christian and a very religious community. We want to grow a country where people can progressively be themselves. If we don't take care, we will be moving backward, thinking that we are moving forward. If we destroy the generation that is behind us, the future is going to be grim. Mr. Speaker, I really would ask those ones who are pronouncing like it is going to take sweets or biscuits, because that's what you are saying. Let's look at the consequences. Let's look at the consequences that it is taking. And I would love that if we can get more many as many as possible, this world is going to be better. To join me in that. Mr. Speaker.
Point made. Sioi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think we should not legalize something that already we have seen the results from the youth that we have at the moment. If we can take some time and just go to Madare Hospital here, our children are suffering. They are mentally ill. The story I was telling, the question I raised yesterday, Mr. Speaker, of a doctor who was a surgeon, a licensed doctor, who did the operation, major surgery in a chemist, is because he had taken some substance. That is why he did what he did. So as much as our children are using it, we are not going to legalize it. Because even what the people are doing at the moment, the rapist, we have cases of defilement, cases of rape case, so many of them. Are we going to let them free because it has become a common thing? We cannot do that, Mr. Speaker. It is not even something to discuss.
Thank you, Mbayo.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika, niruhusu nizungumze Kiswahili ili iweze kufikia wale vijana wangu kule kwa kaunti yangu Kilifi. Mheshimiwa Spika, bangi ni hatari sana kwa jamii nzima. Watoto wetu kule Kilifi wameharibika wengi. Mheshimiwa Spika, zile kesi za unajisi, zile kesi ziko kule kwetu nyingi, vijana wengi ambao wanajisi watoto wadogo wanatumia bank. Hawezi kufanya wakiwa akili zao ziko timamu. Zimechangiwa sana na hizi dawa za kulevya na hasa bangi. Watoto wetu wengi wamekosa kazi. Kazi za polisi, kazi za KDF, wanaenda uwanjani, wanashindwa kukimbia, wanapimwa damu iko na chembe za dawa ya kulevya na hasa bank. Mheshimiwa Spika, niko kama mzazi wa mtoto mvulana na mtoto msichana. Hatutaweza kuendelea kuzungumza kuwa hata debate ikija hapa tuseme bangi iwe. Bangi kama inatumika kama dawa kwa wagonjwa itakuwa ni sawa, lakini haiwezi, maanake watoto wetu wana abuse bangi. Hawaitumii vile inavyostahili. Kama ni dawa iwe dawa, lakini kama ni watoto wetu wanaovuta wachome moshi, hatutaweza kuunga mkono kitu kama hicho. Na wazazi mlioko kama mimi, hatuwezi kuzungumzia mambo ya bangi ya kuwa yatiwe kwa biskuti, yaweke kwa wapi. Kama ni dawa, madaktari waweze kudhibitisha kuwa inaweza kutumika kwa wagonjwa. Lakini kama ni ile inaovutwa, na wale vijana wangu ninawaona, ninakutana nao kaa nao kwenye mikutano, Mheshimiwa Spika, nasema hapana kwa bangi Kenya nzima na hasa kule Kilifi. Asante.
Korere. This was just a statement of Mogaka. Do we still want to carry on?
Yes. Thank you, Speaker. Speaker.
Yes, Korere.
You know, I've been staying very close to the bad girl, and I think I'm in that company of very bad girls. But Speaker, having said that, just like Millie, I've never touched a cigarette, anything, bangi, or whatever. But Speaker, drugs and substance abuse is a discussion that we should speak as a nation. It should be a national discussion. Because, Speaker, as we speak, a lot of our children are being wrecked by these drugs. And it's not just bangi alone. And Mr. Speaker, You know, if we start talking of legalizing bangi, we are running away from the truth that it is bad and it will kill our generations. The discussion we should have is how are we going to go back to what we were? Because as it is today, in a small village like Doldol, bangi is finishing our children. And we are saying we can legalize bangi. So what are we going to legalize next? Are we running away from our responsibilities as a country and as parents?
Asinyen, chukua dakika moja.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. As Honorable Owen was putting it, it's a very interesting discussion, but at the same time, it's very emotive, Mr. Speaker. For those of us who have seen people who have gone down with drugs, we cannot even afford to discuss such a discussion here, Honorable Speaker. Bang is bad. If that is what people smoke back home, when we see them acting weird, we see them throwing stones to others, we see them shooting people and doing all the manner of things. It is not a discussion we can afford in a national house like this one, Honorable Speaker. A place like Turkana that borders several countries, Honorable Speaker, our youth have gone down because bang comes from Ethiopia through our borders. And you know our borders are not manned by anybody. If you go to a border of Turkana and Ethiopia, no one is manning it. It is just the Turkana people. So bang leaves Ethiopia through Turkana up to Nairobi, Honorable Speaker, and at times even in security cars.
Time up. Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's very easy to theorize. And I know that it is well-intentioned when people say they want to legalize for medical reason. Yesterday, my nephew was released from hospital. He's become schizophrenic because of use of drugs. It has been a long journey. It has depressed my sister. Mr. Speaker, every time he goes in, we spend no less than 1 million Kenya shillings because we don't even have facilities that deals with that. He has been to Mathare Mental Hospital. Mr. Speaker, it is good to say when you have not actually gone through this. And I think it is good for us as leaders to be realistic about what we go through, even as leaders. That's when people will know the reality we are dealing with as a country. I do not support such
Honorable members, you know, I represented a young man who raped his mother because he was high on bang. And in court he said he thought the mother was a new girlfriend. Is that what we want to do? Yes, Omongina. I'm telling you facts.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, so that I can also contribute on this issue. Honorable Speaker, I want to give an example. Last month, a child was raped in my own community. She was raped, she was killed, and
in law, a child is defiled, not raped.
Yeah, she was defiled.
Yes.
And the person who was defiling is a punk smoker. Yes. A person who has done a lot within that community. People are crying, and today, as members of parliament and as a nation, we must be up in arms and cry because our communities are being destroyed. Our young men and the women have been destroyed. It's not only men, it is.
I didn't know that you can spend so much time on Adagala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to give my voice concerning bang and so forth, Mr. Speaker. I would easily say that bang thing must be banned with the respect it deserves. Bang, my county, Vihiga, is known for a place called Luanda, where bang is peddled and it comes from through Uganda. I'm even shocked Honorable Ocheng is talking about it, and I think it is grown in near his place there, which is causing havoc in Luanda. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, as a mother, I'll not allow bang to be peddled anyhow. When you go, you get a young man, he's looking like a 70-year-old man. He doesn't know the mother, he doesn't know the grandfather. And in this bang thing that is making, Mr. Speaker, our society, there is a lot of femicide. And when you follow...
Dr. Mutunga.
Honourable Speaker, many products can be used for medicinal value, and these are used as extracts. Taking bangi as a whole product is not really medicinal. It does not help. It's taking excessive of the dosage. Honourable Speaker, we would like to leave the issues to science. Let them pick what is necessary and leave bangi as it were. Let's not take excessive doses. I don't think there's any medical prescription for smoking. Honourable Speaker, smoking in itself is hazardous to human. So I think bangi should be banned by all means.
Waluke.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I've been to US where I saw somebody has planted about 500 acres of bang. And when I asked the Honourable Speaker, I was told that it is being used as medicine. So, Honourable Speaker, if we legalize bangi, I think it will be better for us as a country to make medicine for treating people, especially cancer, because I was told that it is being used to treat people with cancer. Let us legalize bangi in this country, Honourable Speaker. Instead of people being arrested, magistrate or police to hide and sell to other people, because it's a product that is has high value, Mr. Speaker, and the country can make a lot of money from it rather than hiding.
What's your point of order, Pesaris? You already spoke on this.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, you know, there's something called harm reduction, and I'm bringing the harm reduction bill. As we talk about cannabis, let me call it medical cannabis and hemp. Hemp is even used for fabric. These are profitable products.
What's your point of order?
The point of order is, Mr. Speaker, you know, even right now in Kenya, we have harm reduction policies. We give methadone, which is a synthetic drug, for people who are taking hard drugs like coke, etc., heroin, so that we can get them out of it. So there are solutions. In terms of pain, opioids are bad. Cannabis, medical cannabis, has been able to help people overcome the pain, and it's the most affordable way to deal with pain. Most of the cancer patients in this country cannot afford painkillers. So the thing is...
Honourable Pesaris. Honourable members, I want to end here. You passed a law, not necessarily this parliament, to ban the growing, transporting, smoking of cannabis sativa. It is still the law. It's called ganja, it's called bangi, it's called all manner of names, but it is bang. If you want to change, bring a law to repeal that law, take it to the public and hear what the public says through public participation. But I want to caution you that, at the moral level, just go to some of our streets and I walk around. You find a young man so dazed. He's looking at you, but he doesn't know whether he's seeing a human being or an object. I have seen terrible things about bang smoking. Don't be lured by the story of Ocheng. I don't even know whether it's fiction or truth. Yes, Honorable Nyikal, you'll close.
Mr. Speaker, bang as a drug is a cannabinol, is a substance. The effect on the brain is known. We are not discussing something that has not been tested in science. It has effect on the brain. The use, that's what it will do. Now, the issues we have here today is one, that it is therapeutic. Two, that it is used a lot and is common. Those two cannot be a reason, because even the other drugs that we know
are therapeutic. There's how they are used. They are banned, but they are used as medicine and they are controlled. Otherwise, they are banned. When you take morphine, when you take codeine, these are from opium. They are therapeutic, so they treat people. But that is not a reason to say now. Yeah, so that cannot be a reason to say they should be legalized, because then you will legalize anything. Fentanyl, which it kills people. You know, the famous musician, Michael Jackson, he died from these painkillers. So the fact that something is therapeutic, in fact, that is the reason it should be controlled.
Michael Jackson, yeah. Another very good musician called Whitney Houston.
Yes.
Yes, went the same way.
Yeah. So similarly, what we can say is we control, in fact, we should ban it. Then now it is controlled and used as a medication. So we can use it to produce medicines. But you cannot say, because it is therapeutic, it is easily available, people use it, we should now legalize it. That argument does not work because the effect is known. And long-term use, and you just given an example of what it does. What it does in the brain, it changes perception on how you see things. Yes. So when people jump from high buildings, because when they have it, it actually looks, the ground looks near.
Like I told you, Dr. Nyikal, the lawyers here, Ocheng is a lawyer, and others. There is a case from Jamaica. A man smoked bang to the extent that he picked his child and put on fire, I think it was a plank of wood. Give Nyikal 1 minute.
So, Mr. Speaker, that is exactly what I say. It changes how you perceive things, how you see things. Like I've said, if you are in a building, it will actually look, even if it's 10 stories, it may look like here. So that is the perception. This is just here. So you will jump. Now, like you are saying, you look at a child, you think this is firewood. You burn the child. You look at your mother or somebody, they now don't look like your mother. It's just, that is what it does in the brain. So we cannot say because it is used often and it is therapeutic, then now it should be legalized. That is my point, Mr. Speaker.
Members,
the two arguments are not correct.
Professional doctor, Timo Anyonyi, you'll be the last on that.
Honorable Speaker, I represent an urban constituency and I've seen and witnessed what bang can do to these young people. Substance abuse and all manner of drugs, Mr. Speaker, is destroying this younger generation, and it should be banned and should be removed from our society. Mr. Speaker, I think sometimes we have the laws, but implementation is what is not there. If we implement the pieces of legislation we have passed in this House, I think we can control some of these substances that come. And most of them, Mr. Speaker, if you look at now bringing and putting even using some flavors, you see a flavor, strawberries, something. So it's looking very nice, but it's bang. So you find somebody who has smoked just looks like he has been rained on, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Mishi, I had closed this, but I'll allow you as the last one.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika, nakushukuru kwa sababu unajua kule mwambao wa Pwani kumeharibika sana, vijana wameingia katika magenge ya uhalifu na sana motisha wanaipata baada ya kuvuta bangi. Tumekuwa na mikutano na wao tukiwa na watu wa idara ya polisi na tukawa tunawauliza, wakati umevuta bangi unasikiaje ama inakuaje? Wanakuambia hata yule mdudu mdogo nzi ukivuta bangi unamuona ni mkubwa kama kichwa. Na wanakuambia wanapovuta bangi wanakuwa na hamasa, wanakuwa na hasira, wanajiona kuwa wanaweza pigana na wanaweza kufanya kitu chochote. Na ndio sababu watoto kwa kuanzia miaka 10 miaka ya chini sana wanavuta bangi wakiwa shule, na unaona sasa athari zile tunazozipata. Mashule, mabweni yanachomwa, watu wanafanya vituko vikubwa sana. Kwa hivyo madhara ya bangi ni madhara makubwa sana kuliko yale machache ambayo yanatumika katika mambo ya afya, mambo ya udaktari. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, tusisubutu kabisa kusema ya kwamba tutaweza kuhalalisha bangi. Bangi ni mbaya sana, kwanza hata kwa sisi kina mama, kwa wanaume wetu wanaovuta bangi pia wakiwa na sisi pia kuna athari yake. Hiyo tutaizungumza kwa wakati mwingine. Kwa hivyo hii bangi haifai kabisa.
Gani hiyo Mama Mishi? Ni hatari gani hiyo Mama Mishi?
Hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, nitakuelezea nyuma ya tent.
Thank you. Yes, let's finish here. Yes, Mogaka, this was your statement.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I didn't know that a criminal act of a bus company and a person already arraigned in court could elicit such a debate. Be that as it may, Mr. Speaker, is it in order when this Parliament has enacted a law outlawing sativas cannabis, is it in order for us to have in our answered confessions of persons in this Augusta House confessing to how they enjoy this drug? And then finally, Mr. Speaker, I do plead with you to order the committee to revisit this particular question and do a comprehensive report before we get anybody bringing a law or an amendment to delete the section that outlaws this substance. And as a Christian, I distance myself from those celebrating a drug that is a killer, that is a disabler, that has impaired people's thinking, and that is a threat to the future generation. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kahangara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think Honorable Mogaka has raised a number of issues. And of course, the debate was interesting. Unfortunately, members are lamenting, and they're the ones who are making laws, and they can be able to do something about it. But on the issue of just having answered the question on one bus and not three, Mr. Speaker, I'll ask for indulgence, so we'll make a follow-up because we sought this from the ministry.
Make a follow-up.
Yes, so we will bring the
Check
answer.
what members have said.
Yes.
And you can bring a further statement on this statement.
Yes, and also on the section 20, subsection 2 that the member talked about, I think the matter is still under investigation, as said. So the issue of forfeiture, we may not be able to tell it at this stage because the matter is still under investigation and the matter, again, is still in court. On the issue on confrontation by the owner or the people who operate the guardian angel, I think is very unfortunate. It's a matter that needs to be taken up very, very seriously, Mr. Speaker. And I think we'll pick it up with the Ministry and the Inspector General of Police so that this matter is also investigated. And as we bring the answer, we'll be able to do something about it. And the issue that we didn't involve the member when we were giving the answer, if the member is dissatisfied, I think that is the time, because when we sought it from the Ministry, if the member is dissatisfied, then we can go further probably and have a sitting so that we can be able to get more information. And as the members were speaking, from Busia and elsewhere, I see members have a lot of information. We have been encouraged to volunteer information where the bank is being grown and all that, so that also the security agencies can be able to take action. And I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Kangara. Honourable members, I was told this, I hope they're still in the gallery, in the public gallery, Miduri Comprehensive School from Laikipia North, Laikipia. If they're still in the gallery, I welcome them to the House of Parliament and encourage them to enjoy their stay. Housing, urban planning. Rindikiri, are you ready to respond to Kandie's request? And you're the acting chairman of the committee?
Yes, I was. Now we have a substantive chair.
Is he in the house?
Yeah, Mr. Tonu is in the house.
Yes. Honorable Tanui, you have a response?
Yes, Chair.
Go ahead. Kandie is in the house. You can go ahead.
Thank you,
Honorable Speaker. On 8 April 2026, the member for Baringo Central Constituency, Honorable Joshua Kandie, MP, requested for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Housing, Urban Planning and Public Works regarding the lack of urban planning and regulation of construction of high-rise buildings in the country. Honorable Speaker, in the statement, the Honorable Member sought to establish, among other things, number one, the measures put in place by the government to ensure oversight of the construction of the high-rise buildings in Kenya, including enforcement of approved planning standards and compliance with building regulations. Number two, the steps being taken to improve existing policies governing implementation of drainage and sewerage systems in Kenya to match the rapid urbanization. And number three, the actions taken to enhance urban planning and coordination between relevant national and county government authorities to ensure that corresponding essential infrastructure, such as drainage and sewerage system, is adequately integrated into high-rise urban developments. Honorable Speaker, the committee received a response from the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing, and Urban Development through the Clerk of the National Assembly, which I now wish to convey as follows. Regarding measures to ensure oversight of construction of high-rise building, the State Department for Public Works has undertaken the following. Number one, multi-agency enforcement and inspections. Roman 1, National Building Inspection and the State Department for Public Works coordinate and acts as secretariat for the multi-sectorial committee on unsafe structures, working jointly with county governments, NEMA, NCA, and other agencies. Two, through this framework, joint inspections and enforcement actions have been undertaken in major urban centers. Two, the Construction Authority has the mandate to regulate construction industry and coordinate its development. The authority has been carrying regular inspection of the ongoing construction and issuing necessary guidance, such as stop orders or remedial action on the ongoing developments. Two, national building audits. One, National Building Inspectorate has conducted structural audits and compliance inspections in Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Nakuru, Kilifi, among other areas. And two, these audits have identified unsafe buildings, non-compliance with approved plans, and developments in environmentally sensitive areas. Number three, implementation of Building Codes 2024. Roman 1, the State Department for Public Works has developed the National Building Code 2024 that came into effect on 31st March 2025. The code provides updated standards for design, construction, safety, drainage, and environmental compliance for all buildings constructed within the country. Two, ongoing sensitization and civic education programs are being conducted for professional developments and county authorities to ensure compliance. On review of high-risk developments, the State Department has reviewed and acted upon lists of high-risk projects outlawed by NEMA, particularly those affecting riparian reserves and flood-prone areas. On judicial support for planning framework number 5, the State Department notes and supports court rulings directing county governments, particularly Nairobi City County, to develop and enforce planning guidelines for high-rise developments. Honorable Speaker, regarding the steps to improve drainage and sewerage system, the government recognized that rapid urbanization has outpaced infrastructure development. In response, we have initiated the following. Number 1, integration of infrastructure requirements in building codes. The Building Code 2024 requires that all development demonstrates adequate provision for drainage, sewerage, and storm water management prior to approval. Number 2, interagency coordination. The State Department collaborates with NEMA, waterworks agencies, and county governments to ensure environmental and infrastructure compliance before project approvals. Number 3, enforcement against non-compliant developments. Developments encroaching on riparian land or lacking adequate drainage systems are flagged through multi-sectorial committee on unsafe structures, inspection for enforcement action, including stoppage or even demolition. Honorable Speaker, regarding actions to enforce urban planning and coordination, I wish to state as follows. 1, strengthening coordination role of national government. The State Department continues to provide policy guidance and technical oversight to county governments in urban planning and building regulation. 2, proposed integrated national e-building management system. The State Department has proposed the development of integrated national e-building management system to be used by all entities, which is intended to provide real-time visibility of building approvals and inspections, enhance coordination between national and county agencies, improve compliance, monitoring, and enforcement. 3, development of the Building Act. The State Department is currently developing a Building Act which will strengthen the legal framework for building control, clarify roles between national and county governments, and ensure enforcement mechanisms. We shall be seeking your support to process the framework in order to address the challenges highlighted in the request for statement. Despite the above efforts, the State Department faces the following challenges. 1, inadequate budgetary allocation, limiting its capacity to conduct widespread inspection by the National Building Inspectorate. 2, rapid urbanization, outpacing institutional capacity at both the national and county levels. Fragmentation of approval and enforcement system across counties and agencies. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, I wish to reiterate that the government has taken significant steps to strengthen oversight of high-rise building construction through regulatory reforms, enforcement, and interagency coordination. However, addressing the challenges of urban planning, drainage, and sewerage requires sustained investment, stronger enforcement frameworks, and enhanced coordination between national and county governments. the reforms being undertaken, including the enactment of the National Building Code 2024, the proposed Building Act, and the Integrated National E-Building Management System are expected to significantly improve regulation, safety, sustainability of urban developments in Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I submit and attach to what I have just read is submission from the State Department for Public Works. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, is a member who does that for that statement satisfied?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am satisfied with the statement. However, I would be very happy if the committee follows up on the question of development of the Building Act, and two, the question of budgetary allocation to that State Department so that they can do their work properly.
Thank you. We are a bit short of time. Okay, I'll just allow Honorable Gogoya, and if I give you 2 minutes.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Then I'll come to you, Vice Chair.
On Wednesday last week, Madam Speaker, the Speaker directed the same committee to answer my question today on regarding to the house that had come down in Ngong, Ololu area, Lenairi. And Madam Speaker, with a very heavy heart, I have not gotten an answer which was supposed to be answered today by the committee. And allow me, Madam Speaker, to say that it is getting worse. A house came down in Ngong. About several neighbors surrounding that house were evacuated by the National Disaster Management Authority. They were not given an alternative of where to stay or where to live. And James Mwanginganga of ID number 464220, Joseph Ngaiso Lemayan of title number 34255 Ngongong, Marion Jambi of Ngongong 46241, and Phyllis Kabura, up to date with their children, their husband and their wives, do not have a place they can call home, and they cannot go to their houses. Madam Speaker, that answer the chair directed that it comes today. It has not come. I am kindly requesting for your intervention because it was ruled that today on Wednesday, the Committee for Public Works must provide the answer.
Honorable Indikivi, because I know you were acting then, so you must have the answer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. There are two issues here. The issue of Honorable Kadie, we really have heard your positive comment because, Madam Speaker, what as a committee has been emphasizing on is adherence to the building code and strict conformity with the approvals. Madam Speaker, the issue that is surrounding the matter that was brought up by Honorable Gogoyo. Madam Speaker, if you recall, there's a time limit that is required. The 7 days that are required, the communication to the relevant authority. And if we promise that this matter will come up because we are still within the same time limit, this is not a simple matter, Madam Speaker. It requires detailed inspection, detailed report, because there is death involved, there is the building that has collapsed, there was the issue of authorized contractor, there was the issue of the plan. So really very comprehensive. I plead with Honorable Gogoyo that we will certainly give this next week with full details. I really sympathize with the families there. But let's give this, the agencies, because we have taken this matter very seriously. I can tell the House. The committee is concerned because of continuation of some of these collapses, but this one specific for Ngong, it is of very keen interest to us as a committee. I thank you, Madam Speaker. Please, Mr. Gogoyo, ask for your indulgence.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, I really want your intervention While I agree I will wait for the report of the collapsed building, the report of the contractor, neighbors who are not part of the building that collapsed were evacuated from their houses. You've lived there for 50 years, 60 years, you are evacuated for safety. You are not given an alternative. You cannot go back to your house, and you are not told whether the building that is still existing will be brought down or they can occupy. Madam Speaker, I kindly seek your intervention.
I think he has said that they will give an answer next week.
On the building plan approvals, I have accepted. But Madam Speaker, people are outside their houses. They must, on that one specifically, they should have told, you see, Madam Speaker, even if it is not in their line department, at least the DCCs should direct people on what exactly they should do, because people are out of their houses.
Yes, and I'm hoping that even you as a local member of parliament has gone to see the DCC and the county commissioner.
Madam Speaker, the National Disaster Management Authority evacuated people and have put in police. You cannot access your house. For you to access your house, there must be a clearance that you get so that you go back to your properties. Yes. So if this is not, if this committee cannot provide the same, it means that you have put people out of their houses without their consent.
But you see, what I'm advising is, even if you ask the committee that question now, by the time next week when they call the Disaster Management Authority, I was saying there is some administrative action that you can also proactively take to do that. If that happens somewhere in my county, I'll go.
Which I have already done. I've been with these people, but the Public Works Department, which is stationed in Nairobi, gave the directive from Nairobi, and Kajiado cannot act on the same. So, Madam Speaker, I'm seeking your intervention.
The committee will get answers next week, as they have already said, but most importantly, those are administrative actions that can be done at county level. Because if they need help immediately, or someone seeing the Disaster Management Authority, because I don't think here you'll get a quick action from Parliament. Okay, next, let's have the answer by Honorable Mutunga, Chair for Agriculture. I think Honorable COE had asked about the issue of lack of fertilizer or shortage of fertilizer.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise to respond to the request for a statement by Honourable Lilian Sioi, MP, Trans Nzoia County, regarding shortage of fertilizer in the county. Honourable Speaker, specifically, the Honourable Member sought to know the cause of the ongoing shortage of top-dressing fertilizer at National Cereals and Produce Board depots in Trans Nzoia County. The response goes as follows. The government has procured sufficient fertilizer and signed framework contracts with multiple suppliers. A total of 249,874 bags of top-dressing fertilizer has been supplied and redeemed in Trans Nzoia County. The shortage was caused by the following: disruption in the supply of urea fertilizer due to Middle East crisis, inability of the local fertilizer manufacturers to access raw materials from blending, delays caused by fertilizer vessels being rerouted through South Africa, increased fuel prices leading to transport delays and renegotiation of transport rates, and delayed payment of the government subsidy component to suppliers. The second part, Honourable Speaker, the Honourable Member wanted to know the immediate measures that are undertaken to ensure adequate supply of fertilizer, adequate and timely supply of fertilizer to the farmers in Trans Nzoia County. And the Ministry indicates that the NCPB and suppliers worked jointly to address the supply challenges as follows. Suppliers deployed both road and rail transport to speed up fertilizer deliveries. Government paid part of the outstanding subsidy claims owed to the suppliers, and supply and distribution of fertilizer subsequently has been normalized. The Honourable Member also wanted to get to get a report on the investigations into the alleged diversion of subsidized fertilizer intended for local farmers to neighboring countries, and specifically Uganda. The government, the response is such that the government released 2 million bags of subsidized fertilizer through 354 NCPP depots and approved outlets. The program targeted over 6 million farmers at a subsidized rate of Kenya shillings 2,500 per 50 kilogram bags. Investigations were conducted in Busia, Bungoma, Kakamega, Kisumu, Vihiga, Uasin Gishu, Trans Nzoia, Nakuru, Laikipia, Kisii, Migori, and Kajiado. Key findings are as follows. A, farmer registration weaknesses that have been identified as the largest source of diversion. There are inflated acreage declarations resorting to excessive fertilizer allocations. And Honourable Speaker, this is widespread, even in my own constituency. There are duplicate registration of farmers and parcels of land. There is registration of non-farmers and the casual workers.
I thought that the chiefs and the DCCs using their teams are actually verifying the land.
Honourable Speaker, what normally happens is that land verification issue is done by the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, and then I think the survey experts, once they measure the land, then they quantify the amount of fertilizer based on the user levels. And this information is kept by the ministry at the local level and relayed to NCPB. So NCPB uses this information now to release messages to the owners of the land on the amount of fertilizers they can buy when the fertilizer is due and it's available. So the verification exercise is done once. Maybe re-verification might be necessary. There are also multiple registrations across the countries and also on borders and also across the borders. There is registration of leased land by both owners and tenants. There is weak physical verification by agripreneurs, inadequate involvement of chiefs and agripreneurs as well, and incorrect farmer records and contact details. There is also institutional farms registered under individuals and the genuine farmers excluded from the registration system. Those are the anomalies that have been found out. And there are examples of the findings. One farmer in Busia was allocated 716 bags. One farmer in Moron was allocated 600 bags based on inaccurate acreage declarations. And the farmers registered simultaneously in multiple counties. So we have a bit of cheating in that area. The second issue that was also investigated was...
You have the identity cards, isn't it? I'm a farmer, so I see the message. It's linked to your identity card, and you'll have to have shown the other chief on the other side of the land where you have the second piece of land, that you're actually the one farming the land.
Honourable Speaker, the capture of this data, I think, is a little bit... I think the distribution of the data across the different localities or different administrative units and different counties, I think, need to be done. It needs to be passed across what verification exercise does not is not based on a non-disclosure of information, because somebody can bring surveyed plots on land that is fictitious. I think there's a lot of collusion, Honourable Speaker. And I personally followed up one particular distribution. I was informed that there's a lorry which is loading 240 bags of fertilizer. I know in my county, in my constituency, there are rarely any farmers who have more than 30 acres of land. For you to utilize 240 bags of fertilizer, especially top dressing at 80 kilograms per acre, you need 153 acres to use 240 bags of fertilizer. So I followed this particularly, and I also engaged the county government to get me the verification. That exercise took too long, and I got to discover where the bottlenecks are. It's a syndicate. It is involving even officers in the office. The second issue that was investigated was voucher redemption and monitoring weaknesses. There is farmers redeeming fertilizer outside their registered counties, as indicated above. There are multiple redemptions using the same voucher, and this is allowed, I believe, by the personnel within the SPB. Immediate resale of subsidized fertilizer to traders and brokers, that is also happening. Brokers purchasing vouchers from farmers There is also organized pooling of vouchers and fertilizer for commercial resale, farmers receiving fertilizer beyond actual requirements, and financial hardships forcing some farmers to redeem fertilizer for resale. Some examples of the findings, Honorable Speaker, indicate that one beneficiary at Timaru sub-depot was held an allocation of approximately 39,000 bags, one particular individual. Fertilizer was also resold in Nakuru and Kuresoi at between 3,500 and 4,800 per bag, after having been purchased at 2,500 a bag. The other issue that was also investigated was the governance and accountability issues, which brought about several challenges. And some of the positive attributes include strong collaboration between NCPB, the county government, and security agencies in most of the cases. There is multi-agency enforcement teams which are operational in several counties. There's ongoing DCI investigations on cases that have already been found to be wanting or requiring the same, and effective control at official border points such as Busia and Malaba. The challenges, we have weak oversight of last mile distribution centers. There is also limited monitoring after fertilizer redemption, inadequate staffing at depots, weak supervision of farmer registration exercises, and poor accountability in some county-managed stores. I want to repeat this: poor accountability at some county-managed stores. What I found in my constituency, Honorable Speaker, is that there was collusion, and I could not get a lot of support from some quarters. Reported cases: there is loss of 422 bags in Busia County, managed by Busia County managed stores. There is also loss of 16 bags at Chekalini last mile center in Kakamega. The first issue that was investigated, Honorable Speaker, is procurement and distribution challenges, where the ministry found late delivery of fertilizer relative to planting season, inadequate fertilizer quantities during peak demand periods, mismatch between fertilizer supply and farmer preferences, and frequent shortages of urea, CAN, NPSP, NPK, and inadequate last mile distribution centers, as well as network failures affecting redemption systems. The fifth issue that was investigated was cross-border diversion and smuggling of fertilizer, and the findings include the following: farmers cultivating land across international borders. We have some farmers in Kenya, some Kenyan farmers who have land in Uganda and other countries. There is also family connections facilitating movement of fertilizer and use of unofficial border routes, Panya routes. Documented cases include confiscation of 172 bags of NPK fertilizer at Malaba border destined to a foreign country. There is also a confiscation of 5 bags being smuggled into Uganda, arrests linked to fertilizer repackaging and adulteration in Kakamega, and reports of fertilizer crossing into Uganda and Tanzania through informal routes. The final issue, no, not final, the other issue that was investigated was policy and legal gaps, if any, and the following findings are presented, including absence of a comprehensive fertilizer supply policy, lack of strong legal framework governing fertilizer supplies, weak fertilizer traceability mechanisms, lack of control after fertilizer redemption, weak regulation of inter-country redemption, no framework for cross-border farmers, poor integration between KIAMIS and land records and agricultural databases, no clear framework for registration of institutional farms, and inadequate legal provisions against diversion, resale, adulteration, and smuggling. Major cross-border challenges were identified as follows: inaccurate farmer registration data, weak verification of farm ownership and acreage, diversion through broker and traders, poor monitoring after redemption, cross-border movement of fertilizer, illegal repackaging and resale, delayed fertilizer delivery, inadequate fertilizer supply during peak demands, inadequate last-mile distribution infrastructure, staffing shortages at depots, new network and ICT challenges, limited extension personnel, financial constraints among farmers, weak accountability system, and inadequate policy and legal frameworks. Key conclusions of the investigations, Honorable Speaker, include the following: that the greatest source of fertilizer diversion is weakness in farmer registration, verification, voucher management, and monitoring systems, rather than cross-border smuggling alone. And the conclusion is that strengthening registration, traceability, enforcement, and oversight mechanisms is critical to safeguarding the subsidy program. The fourth issue that the honourable member sought to be responded to was long-term intervention to safeguard the subsidized fertilizer program. And the ministry response as follows: establishment of 2-year framework contract with multiple local and international fertilizer suppliers in order to supply in time. Also, advanced placement of fertilizer orders before each planting season. Comprehensive audit and validation of the KBC farmer database. Strengthening of farmer and land verification through the national, the office of the, what we call girls and agricultural officers. Introduction of fertilizer traceability mechanisms, enhanced multi-agency surveillance and enforcement operations, development of a comprehensive fertilizer subsidy policy, strengthening legal provisions against diversion, disadulteration, and smuggling, improvement of demand forecasting and the procurement planning, expansion of last mile distribution centers, improvement of ICT.
Mutunga, you're telling us all the litany of challenges that the ministry has. So you have told us all their problems that they have. In fact, they seem to have a problem at every single stop. Then you have said this is the way we can solve it, but you're speculating. You're not saying we have undertaken the following measures. 1, 2, 3.
I hear you very well,
I'm
Honourable
surprised
Speaker.
it's from them because that's an indictment on them.
I hear you very clearly, Honourable Speaker, and Honourable Speaker, I'll make sure I relay the same sentiments to the Minister so that he can respond specifically rather than giving us the array of possibilities, because that's what I also find it.
Yeah, there is no action
And
point
this is
there.
the overall recommendation is that they will be prioritized.
So there is actually no point to continue with that.
I'm almost done, Honourable Speaker. Let me just finish. It's just 1 minute. Prioritizing, cleaning, and validation of the farmer database, strengthening farmer and land verification system, improving real-time monitoring and traceability of fertilizer movement, enhancing accountability at depots and last-mile centers, strengthening border surveillance and enforcement, and establishing a comprehensive legal and policy framework to eliminate leakages and ensure subsidized fertilizer reaches genuine farmers. So, Honourable Speaker, I will basically take your sentiments back to the Minister.
Basically, what that amounts to is that the ministry is actually crying more than the bereaved. Yeah, that's really, it's not an answer. And I think let's finish this. We have the budget item to finish. I'll give you 1 minute, Honorable Oundo, but I'll also give the honor of the question. But there is no other.
Honorable Speaker, the chair has repeatedly mentioned Busia, and I wanted to go on record that because of the impropriety and the weak control systems, many constituencies in Busia have not received fertilizer since the long rains of last year.
Okay, thank you.
So he needs.
Honorable Sioi, I said that's noted, Honorable Sioi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think from the response, they have done their findings well and confirmed that all the allegation I raised is actually true. And as you've said, he is not giving us the way forward. And to be honest, Madam Speaker, the fertilizer in this country, the government is paying for subsidized fertilizer, but it is not benefiting the farmers in the country. It is benefiting the brokers, and as he said, it is a syndicate from top to bottom. So not unless maybe we change some other things in between here, we will never find a solution. This has been a problem, not this year alone. Even last year, even the other year, we've been complaining, but nothing has been done. So, Chair, we wish that you give us a response that is going to salvage this problem. We curb the problem that is at hand so that we can help our farmers in the country.
You know, Honorable Mutunga, I'm a farmer, and this is something that's close to my heart. There is no solution in that. In fact, I'm beginning to think, did somebody from the ministry write it, or is it somebody who wanted to make the ministry look bad? You know, it's not, because there's no action points whatsoever. Yes, there was a point of order from Honorable Omboko.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It is very absurd that that department, you must remember that we suffered very serious hunger, and after which the President and government decided to bring fertilizer. And fertilizer did a very serious change in terms of food production. And now, the institution that was charged with the responsibility of making sure that that fertilizer goes to farmers and is safeguarded is only lamenting, Honorable Speaker, and explaining even how more problems and outlining them the way you did indicate. That answer is not a correct answer or enough answer for this House. In fact, that's a spot where we don't want to go to. Hunger coming back, Agorogoro going to 280, we don't want that. That answer should not be admissible. It must be rejected, and even the minister called here to deal with only one thing, safeguarding fertilizer. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Close this now because there's nothing even to debate because there was no answers or solutions. So I think let's just allow us to move to the next order. Yeah, honorable members, we can now call out order number 8.
Order number 8, procedural motion, reduction of publication period for a specified bill.
Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Appropriations Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2026, from 7 days to 5 days. Honorable Speaker, first of all, as we approach the end of the financial year, Honorable Speaker, we need to quickly dispense of the Appropriations Bill so that the President can be able to assent to it early enough before the close of the year, so that, first of all, we do not get disruption of services, government services. Two, Honorable Speaker, the law requires us to process Division of Revenue Bill before publication of the Appropriations Bill. And earlier in the week and last week, we were processing the mediation of the DORA bill, which we have now concluded and has been tabled. And therefore, part of that period part of time was eaten when we were still processing DORA bill. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I would like to ask the House to allow us 5 days so that we'll be able to move forward and get dispense of the budget estimates in preparation for the next financial year. Honorable Speaker, I ask the Honorable Bobo and Bayer to second.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to second the procedural motion on reduction of publication period for a specified bill, especially specified bill, the Appropriations Bill, National Assembly Bill, number 36 of 2026, from 7 days to 5 days. Honorable Speaker, this is very important. The 2 days are very fundamental, Honorable Speaker, because when we reduce that period, then we are able to publish the Appropriations Bill and have it tabled here and for first reading and second reading, which opens actually the opportunity for us to execute the budget, Honorable Speaker. It is this appropriations bill that is important. We can pass the budget as a House, but if we don't pass the appropriations bill, then the budget just remains a statement. The appropriations bill is what actions the budget, Honorable Speaker, as a tool of expenditure, and therefore as a tool or a law that allows us to spend money as government, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I want to second Honorable Atandi and say that it is time that we do this very, very fast so that we get an opportunity to execute the budget 2020. And also, it gives the opportunity for the Cabinet Secretary for Finance to come to this House and actually present the budget. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I second.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2026, from 7 days to 5 days. Is it the mood of the House that I put the question? Honorable members, I now put the question that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120, This House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Appropriations Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2026, from 7 days to 5 days. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 9, the Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2026, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to authorize the issuance of sum of money out of the consolidated fund and its application towards the services of the year ending on the 30th June 2027, and to appropriate that sum and a sum voted on account by the National Assembly for certain public services and purposes. Order number 10, motion, consideration of the mediated version of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2026.
Budget Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Article 113, subsection 2 of the Constitution, and Standing Order 150, sub 5, this House adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2026, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 10th June 2026, and approves the mediated version of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2026. Honorable Speaker, I would like to start by saying that the Mediation Committee, which was set up by this House as well as the Senate, held 5 sittings to deliberate on the Division of Revenue Bill 2026 in accordance with the provisions of Article 112, 113 of the Constitution and the standing orders governing the mediation proceedings. During these sittings, Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the contentious issues and undertook consultations aimed at reconciling respective positions on the bill. Following deliberations, the committee successfully developed a mediated version of the bill, which this report sets out on the committee's considerations and recommendations, as contained in the report which we tabled on the House. Honorable Speaker, the committee deliberated on key provisions of the bill, including the proposed allocations to the national and county levels of government, and resolved as follows. 1, national government be allocated Kenya shillings 2,463,624,184,439 for the financial year 2026-2027. B, the county governments be allocated 428 billion for the financial year 2026-2027, and C, inclusion of clause 5 to the bill to provide that the national government will bear any revenue shortfall, and in case of revenue surplus, that the surplus will be applied to pay debts. Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to say that we went through a protracted mediation process because the share of allocations to counties is a matter that has been discussed in many forums. This matter was also part of the part of the 10-point agenda which was signed between our party and the UDA party. And it was agreed that counties would be allocated 450 billion. Honorable Speaker, but when we went into the figures to look at the size of the budget, which looks very big, Honorable Speaker, if you look at our budget is around 4.8 trillion. But, Honorable Speaker, that budget basically is consumed by public debt, what we refer to as CFS. Honorable Speaker, the CFS consumes about 1.5 trillion out of that 4.8 trillion. The next big consumption is 1 trillion, which goes into payment of salaries to civil servants and state officers. Honorable Speaker, the other big consumption of our budget is 800 billion, which goes to education. And Honorable Speaker, transfers to counties alone, including the share of allocations to counties, is about 500 billion. So, Honorable Speaker, if you look at this budget, you clearly see that the larger portion of this budget is not what is consumed by the national government. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, when we went for this mediation, we were able to persuade each other. And the Senate has agreed with us they actually climbed down from their position of 154 billion. We were able to settle at 128 billion. I want to thank the senators who participated in the mediation process, because even though there existed positions, hardline positions, previously advocated by our leaders, they were able to come down to us and understood us, and therefore we were able to come to 428 billion. Honorable Speaker, I know many people are not happy with this, and they are saying that we should have done better. But Honorable Speaker, as I've told you, I want to urge Kenyans, especially governors, to understand that times are hard and that the economy, we had projected to grow our economy by about 5.3 trillion. This has been revised downwards to about 5% to GDP. Honorable Speaker, this situation now with the global crisis on oil, we do not see a situation where we are going to possibly meet our revenue projections. So this allocation to counties is moderate, is appropriate. I think it's suitable under the current present circumstances. But Honorable Speaker, I also want to take this opportunity to urge our governors that even as we give them these resources, they really need to work hard to ensure that they give services to our people. Honorable Speaker, if you go to many counties, governors are either busy doing politics, others are not even aware of what is going on in their counties, others are basically engaged in corruption, theft. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to urge that our governors must take seriously the utilization of the resources that we transfer to them. And two, they also must collect their own resources. Honorable Speaker, there's something called on-source revenue, which governors are supposed to collect locally in their counties. There are some counties that have done very well, pushing their on-source revenues to levels that are unimaginable. But there are others who are hardly doing nothing, only waiting for resources from Nairobi. In order for us to strengthen devolution, Honorable Speaker, we must get to a situation where governors should be able to become self-reliant. We need our countries to become self-reliant. They should not be able to peg their hopes on Nairobi. If you look at Article 203, Honorable Speaker, the law provides that we must take care of certain basic and important national duties before we can allocate funds to counties. There are issues to do with the national interest, Honorable Speaker. Things like the security of the country. We cannot allocate funds to counties before we take care of the security of the country. Those are what we call first charge. Another factor is that we cannot transfer funds to counties before we pay our debts. So, Honorable Speaker, sometimes if this situation may force us to get to a situation where we have nothing to transfer to counties. So therefore, we want to ask counties that they must work on their own source revenue. There are some counties that are very, very rich. They have their potential to grow their revenues even further than what they are getting. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to stop there by saying that counties must ensure that they leverage on their potentials to grow their own revenues. Honorable Speaker, some people are saying that we should have given counties more and more, and some senators today spoke about this thing in the Senate, Honorable Speaker, and I just wanted to say that sometimes people argue out of lack of understanding. Because if you say that we should have given counties 500 billion, where is it going to come from? Let us look at the books. Let us be able to understand the macroeconomic environment in which this country is operating, and understand that it is not possible to give everybody what they want. Honorable Speaker, even in this House, when we were meeting the Parliamentary Service Commission, there are many things that they wanted us to give them. But we were not able to give them because the resources are constrained. And this is some message that needs to go to all politicians. Politicians think that there's money everywhere, that there's money everywhere for them to be allocated. This House, for example, has had to undergo a haircut in order for us to be able to provide these resources to counties. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to stop there, and I want to urge the House to support this mediation version of the DORA bill, so that to facilitate the processing of the appropriations bill, which, as I mentioned earlier, is pegged on the passage of this DORA mediated bill. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I would like to ask the Deputy Majority Leader, the Honorable Owen Baya, to second the motion. Thank you.
Great. As Obaya comes to second, Chair Budget, you must know that county governments are in the Constitution, and we are rightfully doing.
The bounty hunters were all killed?
Yes.
These bounty hunters were all at the level of Tapana. I really thought at least one of them would be able to kill Cao Yanbing first.
It really is you. Wow, you're ugly.
I'm wanted now? So you're here to capture me?
I'm Peace Bilhasero, 14 years of age.
In our story today, we will meet a girl whose name is Kay. She is really looking forward to go on holiday. But something happens along the way. Well, let's get directly into the book.
I feel participants empowered in the pretty park.
And today I'm gonna show you how to make chia seed pancakes. Bado uko hapa? Toka! Toka!
Ukisikia kitu nipigie simu. Sawa sawa? Yeah, you know I got you. We'll find them.
When, Marvin? Surely when?
Lishan? Amefanya?
Hawajakwambia bado?
Kuambiwa nini?
Kama hawajakwambia, sifai kuzungumza kitu yote.
Nini kinaendelea huku? I've been trying to call you since yesterday. And neither you nor Marvin is answering my calls.